everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Pinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Beresne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to PSGL Series 4 Round 5 of the Championship. Oh, and my camera has gone a lot larger than it should have. Right, there we go. Sorry about that one. Guys, welcome back to PSGL for Round 5 of the E-Series Championship, and we're actually about to get underway into qualifying. We had a bit of a technical issue before we went live, but of course, joining me in the commentary box, unfortunately, Josh isn't here this week. He's too busy at work. So alongside me will be the one and only Jessie Cabul. Jess, welcome in. And I believe this is your first time on E-Series, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've never done an E-Series broadcast before. And good evening, everyone. Josh is gone, and he's been replaced by another Red Bull lookalike. But yeah, it should be good fun. But Singapore is a really long track, demanding for the tyres and everyone else involved. And I'm really excited for this one. And we've got some really interesting drivers taking part tonight.
Yeah, we certainly have. And before we see what drivers are taking part, we'll have a look at the standings heading into this round. And at the moment, it's still TES that lead the way on 178 points. And R8G sitting second on 153. And Race Clutch in third, just 10 points back from them on 141. And Ferrari, champions in the past 3 seasons, sit in P4, 43 points back off the leaders. So that's a big surprise heading into this one. Seeing Ferrari so far down in the standings. Of Veloci Academy, after a couple of unlucky rounds, round out the top 5 on 106 points. And then we have Tatum Racing Team, TF10, FVR, CPI and ABS. The top 10, or the full top 10 here in this championship. And heading into this round as well, lineup-wise, we've also got a couple of new faces taking part in this season. So Race Clutch, we have got Rieslington and Kai Pearson, FVR. We have Topias Koivunen and Tony Hitala. Veloci Academy have Gabriel Quintino and Angelo D'Ortenzio. R8G have Harvey Coburn and Julian Klaffenbach. And Ferrari bringing in Nicholas Longe for this one. He's going to be alongside Dylan Warren. And then we have ABS Racing Team with Drax, and also making his debut, Lolo Vera. And then in TRT, we have Leonardo Tonelato, recently coming back onto the game and recently joining TRT. We had the brother of Nicholas, Matteo Longe, taking part tonight. And in CPI, we have Danny Van Ruyten and CZK. TES with the normal lineup of Jan Harday and Nelson Alves. And finally, TF10 have Semi Simeone and returning to PC, Tony Roche. So, Jess, very strong lineups here tonight, but surely Ferrari are going to be hoping to try and claw some points back in that championship.
Definitely. They've gone really strong in terms of their lineup tonight. They didn't really want to see the community teams in front of them, and you would definitely want to see an esports team that's so prestigious as Ferrari up there near the top. But obviously, they've gone for 2 drivers that like this circuit. They like demanding circuits anyway, so we'll see what happens. They can't afford to lose too many points to their nearest rivals, but really impressed to see some of the community teams go up there and have a massive shot on the more established teams.
Definitely, it's going to be a really interesting one, I think, here tonight. Of course, you know, we've had pretty much the similar or the same lineups throughout this season, but tonight we've got, you know, some really big mixes up and some new drivers entering their way, and so it's very exciting heading into this one to see, you know, to see what the teams can produce. As just having a look at a few cars on the circuit, many of them, of course, going out on a set of the intermediate tyres. I don't think anyone has gone out onto a set of the softs apart from the two Ferraris. They're both gone out on softs, Nicholas Longuet and Dylan Warren, so they want to get their first laps in quite early, it seems.
Yeah, they're not messing about, are they? And I know they may not have enough tyres during this session, but I do believe is there still a lobby restart after each qualify? Well, after qualifying.
Yes, there is going into the race.
Okay,
yeah.
good. So yeah, they're not going to be as worried about saving their tyres for the race because they'll have fresh tyres anyway. So why not get a lap going anyway? And if there's any issues later on, at least they have a feeling on what strategies they could do in terms of how to hit the perfect lap. Because it is a tricky circuit, of course. First use of Formula One back in 2008, and it's always hosted some prestigious races at PSGL, but we got both the Ferraris just about to start their lap on soft tyres.
Of course, we'll see here what Dylan Warren can do, of course, racing here in the past couple of rounds, but Ferrari, without a podium, since round 2 in Austria, of course, in Canada, they got P7 and P20, and last time out in Mexico, a P7 and P14, so it hasn't been the best for Ferrari at all, but having Dylan and Nico, they should certainly be looking to fight here with a challenge, as we do see Tony Hitala to the top of the timings there, a 125.733. I believe that was set on the soft tyres, as Kai Pearson on a set of the Inters goes into second place there, 5 seconds off the pace, but of course, intermediates are a lot slower than the soft tyres, as you all would know, but Dylan Warren here looking decent in this second sector. We'll see what he can do here, a 101.801 split here for Dylan, as he heads his way down towards turn number 14.
They're one of the newly revamped parts of this circuit, which I do prefer, not gonna lie, than the original very technical part of the circuit, but it's meant to be temporary in real life, so I think we'll see the original one back at some time. Full power in 6th gear towards the final corner, and Dylan Warren goes P2 with 2/10 slower than Tony Hitala in first place. We'll see what his teammate Nicholas could do, but we've got a few people that just came across the line on Inters. Nicholas comes across the line, just beats his teammate by less than a few hundredths of a second.
Indeed, and we have here Topias Koivunen heading down towards turn number, I think it's number 13 here at this little hairpin, and of course now heading down towards the long right-hander, of course DRS being activated here for Topias. So he heads his way now into the braking zone, gets the car turned in nice and early, and then of course straight back on the power now. Then this newly revamped part of the circuit. Of course, I believe you do get DRS down towards this braking zone. I guess you do not. So he heads his way now into this final chicane and then into the final corner. We'll see what can Topias do now as he heads to the line. It'll be a 125.580 to the top by 0.2 of a second.
Wow, that is a good lap time for FVR, and they really want to get their quality laps improving, and they're definitely just showing it right now as well. And what's shocking me is more people getting their soft run early, because the reason why, it's not like the likes of Mexico where we were last week, where it was a lap where they can afford to do some inters to pretty much check their setup. They have to get going from the get-go, which is why I think everyone has opted for the soft nice and early, because it is the longest track. One of the longest tracks on the F1 calendar, so they can't mess about really. If they mess up on one of their laps to start with on inters, then they're not going to have enough time to get a good lap that will get them through into Q2. So we got, I think, from 10th downwards, everyone going out on softs again, and pretty much everyone else on inters has gone in to the pit lane. So we'll see what happens there. But I think we're seeing the likes of the CPI guys not messing about either. They're on their laps at the moment. I'm seeing who's going first. We're seeing Danny purple set to 2. That is very impressive as he heads towards turn 13, a corner which I tend to invalidate quite a lot on the F1 games. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's not an easy corner at all, is it, just to get right. So, you know, it's a very good job to see all these drivers making their way through quite safely in that corner. Of course, Danny finished P6 last time out in Mexico. Now goes to the top there with a 25.530. Definitely a big threat in that bottom part of the standings, and definitely going to be helping CPI earn some much needed points here tonight, as we do see Harvey Cohen now heading down towards turn 7, 8 and 9, getting the car turned in nice and early, bring it back around now to the left, and of course trying to get as close as you can to the walls and as close as you can to the track limits and not invalidate your lap, of course. We do know that sometimes if you hit the wall, you can receive an invalidation for hitting the wall, so they've got to be a little bit careful when taking to some of these corners.
I know they want to really find out the limit straight away in this qualifying session, and I agree. If you try and go as close to the wall as possible and you hit it just a little bit, then invalidation never really good. But looks like Harvey doesn't have that much quarrels as he heads past in towards the middle of turn 15, ending towards the tricky corners of 16 and 17. Uses quite a lot of that curb on the exit, now in towards turn 18 and 19 through sixth gear again, flat out, and he goes straight fastest, Nathan.
Very nice indeed there by Harvey Cohen as his teammate there. Julian goes up into P3 there with a 25.682. Do have a few more cars looking to set their laps here. We have CZK, who unfortunately has had an invalidation. What about the two TF10s who certainly haven't had the best season here? No top 10s since Austria, as we do see Tony Roche go up into third. Semi Simeone goes up into P5. And another team that's also been facing someone looking us over these past couple of weeks is Veloce Academy. Because, of course, last time they got a double stack as Gabriel Quintino there matches the time of Topias Koivunen and goes up into third place, as we're just looking to find someone else here on a lap. We do have Tudor Pesakan now heading down towards the final couple of corners into the chicane, and of course the final left-hander before he reaches the line. We'll see here what Tudor can do. Of course, hasn't had the best couple of rounds here for TRT, but of course got a top 10, I believe, back in the first round of the season, and now jumps up into P8 there with a 25.840. And I've got to say, Jess, surprisingly Ferrari are not really at the top as Angelo goes to the top there by nearly a 10th.
Veloce Academy definitely want to redeem themselves there. That is very, very impressive. A P1 and a P4 for Veloce Academy. But as the track starts to ramp up, they can't really rest on their laurels. And yeah, I completely agree. Ferrari only 10th and 12th fastest. They went out early just to get a feel for it. But now everyone else has seen what Ferrari can do. They probably analyse their laps a little bit and see where I could gain the time. And that's probably what's helped them a little bit. Or maybe they're just not very confident around this track. We can see, I think, Florian in the ABS car in the middle of his lap as well. He's only down in 80 on his Inter's lap, but I think he hasn't got that long to get his first lap underway. If he doesn't go into the pit soon enough, he may be knocked out here. He had a little bit of a swerve past the heading towards the bridge coming up now as he goes very, very close to the wall. Luckily, he doesn't hit it and doesn't invalidate it. Sector 3 he comes, very tight on the hairpin, keep as close to the right as you can. In the braking zone, you want to go into third gear. You can see one of the Ferraris, I think, behind them, just in the middle of their laps as well. So we'll keep an eye on them. I think it might be, I wonder if it's Dylan Warren in the middle of his lap. I'm not entirely sure. Here he comes then, exits the final few corners once more. I think the Ferraris are starting to improve a little bit. They are going to get the toe from the ABS driver just a little bit. Sixth gear again. Up to the line does Florian go, only 15th fastest. And I think we just saw one of the Ferraris go into ninth. That was Dylan Warren, I was right. And Nicholas Longuet is just about to finish his lap, Nathan.
Yeah, we'll see here what Nicholas Longuet can do. Dylan Moran goes up into P9. What can the mastermind behind Ferrari do here? Nicholas Longuet up to the line now. Goes up into P6, and still his brother Matteo Longuet with their lap time down in P19, of course, racing here for TRT. And Race Clutch, of course, setting their first laps on a set of the intermediate still without a representative lap time on the board. So we'll see here what Kai Pearson can do. Of course, it's been a bit of a loss for the team not having Lenny Papinta here tonight. It would have been great to have him back and helping score some decent points. But, of course, Kai Pearson will be his replacement and still a very young upcomer in the scene. So let's see what Kai Pearson can do. Kai goes back into the pits. Yeah, but Reese Linton will continue on his lap here. Surely should be a top 5 here for Reese. And only goes into P8 there with a 25.624. And a big thing to notice there is R8G also have a car in the drop zone, and they took a 1-2 last time out to go to second in the standings, and having a Q1 elimination would certainly not help them.
That would be the biggest upset if any of the RAG boys go into elimination in Q1, because the performance they put last week, I was watching pretty much most of it, was outstanding. And that's an example of how you work together in E-Series and deliver a 1-2 like that. So if one of your teammates gets knocked out, then you're going to be in a whole spot of bother for the race. So Harvey Cowan has got to improve a little bit on his lap time, because the margins for most of these drivers are just so minuscule. Only a few tenths separating between, like, say, the top 5 and heading into the drop zone, as we're seeing Tobias from FBR go top.
Yeah, very nice lap time there from Topias Koivunen, as we do see Matteo Longay go up into P15 now on the brinks of elimination. What about CZK up into P12? That knocked Matteo into the elimination zone. Of course, the bottom 5 all heading out after this session. So they've all got to find those improvements here, as you do see Harvey Cohen improve in that first sector here. So, you know, still a long way to go on this lap, of course. A 1 minute and 25 second lap here. So it's definitely not the longest of tracks, or at least longest of lap times, but it's certainly nowhere near the shortest here. So Harvey's still got a long way to go as he heads his way through in towards turn 13, of course, over the Anderson Bridge, into the braking zone, gets the car turned in nice and early, and now straight back on the pay. We're heading down towards this horrible braking zone at turn 14. You never quite know when to brake here, because the corner just kind of gets thrown at you, and you've got to go as wide as you can without running too wide, and of course getting that limiter to that, getting that lap time in validation, as Harvey now heads down towards 16 and 17 at the chicane, gets the car turned in nicely, hops the curbs as Julian Klaffenbach, 25.171, a massive improvement there for the R8G driver. Wow. What can Harvey do? Stays 19th, but he did find an improvement. Now that puts a lot of pressure on Harvey Cohen here, because he's got to try and go again if he can get round again, which I'm not sure he can. And he's got to find at least, what, 3 tenths, maybe 4 or 5, if he wants to be safe and going through into Q2. But we all know, Jess, this track is a difficult one to get right, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And he's not going to have that long if he wants to go into the pits and set a lap. So if I was him, I would recharge the battery, save it, and then go on another lap again on some used scrub soft tyres, because then you can go on some new tyres later on as well. And as Richet goes P2 in the TF10. So 2 tenths separating Julian Klaffenbach and Tony Richet. But your drop zone, I'm a bit worried for RAG. Obviously, we've got the ABS drivers in 17 and 18. That's not good for them. Matteo Longay also in the drop zone. Kai Pearson has not set a valid lap on the set of the soft tyres yet. So we don't know what he could do. I would expect him to be near where Reese Linton is. So if you're the likes of the TRT drivers, Tony Hitala, Sammy, and I think the CPI driver in 12th, I would be a bit worried here, because there's still some really quick drivers in the drop zone that can go up there. But Danny's feeling confident. He feels like he's safe, so he's retired. But will that be enough?
I think a 5.30 should be, but we never know. We'll see later on, as Tony Hitala was down in that second sector and moves up into P10 there. And he was only up by just under a tenth, though. So it just shows how close the grid is at this current moment. And many people on an out lap, everyone 7th down, probably will have to go again. But of course, Tony can't do much more in this session, of course. Being in P10, having just completed a lap, hasn't got enough time at all to head back into the pits and go again. So that is it done here for Tony Hitala. So we'll see what can Lolo Vera do, heading through now in towards turn 12 at the Anderson Bridge, down to turn 13 at the hairpin. Get the car turned in nicely as you head down the gears, and of course back on the power nice and early, scraping the wall as you head your way down towards turn 14. Of course, having some DRS to help you improve in that little straight, as we do see Lolo Vera being up here by 2 tenths. That could jump in up here into P14, but of course still has a couple of sectors to go. Or at least a couple of corners to go, I should say, here. Into turn 16 and 17, goes deep. That could certainly lose Lolo some time now, as Lolo heads through the final corner at turn 18, then into 19, to the line, and it'll be P15. That might not be safe enough, I don't think, here, Jess.
I don't think so, and Harvey's not going to make it out in time. So we got our first shock elimination. Harvey, he's going out again. why is he going out again if he's not going to make it? That is very, very confusing. I have no idea what he's doing, but Lolo just on the bubble, and we haven't seen what the other ABS driver, Florian, can do. He's in 18th at the moment. We'll see what his sector 2 is like in just a moment too. We've got Angelo that's going out, but I feel like he'll be safe, so I wonder why he's going out now. I think just to solidify his place a bit more, just in case we get some shock eliminations. But I'm almost certain he would have just wanted to just retire the car and just save a set of tyres. So I thought he would have been definitely safe. If I was able to say from P9 downwards, I would go again. But I'm seeing that Angelo's not confident enough, which I'm quite surprised about, Nathan.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see CZK finishing P13, Florian goes up into P11. That could see ABS through into the next part of qualifying. Dylan Warren has invalidated, so Dylan needs to hope that the people behind don't find their key improvements. That's it there. P13 for Dylan Warren. Nelson Alves goes up into P6 there for TES. And there's still many cars looking to try and find an improvement here. Just trying to find who's actually on a lap here. Reese Linton heading in towards the final chicane there. We'll see where he can go as Kai Pearson manages, P13 there for Kai Pearson. Drops Dylan Warren down to P14. Lolo Vera's back into the pit lane. Reese Linton goes up into P4. Matteo Longe goes up into P11 there with a .614 here. And there's a big chance that we could lose Dylan Warren here in the first part of qualifying. Sammy Simeone now into the final corner here for Dylan, for TF10. Doesn't knock Dylan out here. What about Tudor Pressagan? He's down on his time. So Dylan Warren is very lucky and makes it through by 0.003 of a second, Jess.
Tudor's invalidated his lap time, so yeah, Dylan was very, very lucky man that he just scraped through by a few thousandths there. So both Ferraris are in Q2, but we have one driver from RHG, ABS, TRT, TF10 and CPI no longer taking part in the next part of qualifying. RHG being the biggest shocks. Same with, I think, TRT as well. That's just annoying for them. It's just a reset for them. But Kai Pearson on the line managed to get through into Q2 and get both race clutch drivers through. Very nicely done. They led it to the death though, didn't they? But they did it.
Yeah, but of course a big shame there for Harvey Cohen and RHG. Of course would have loved to get their way into Q2 and Q3 after bringing that gap to TES, only 25 points. So it will be all down here to Julian Klaffenbach, who of course topped that session by over a tenth and a half to Tony Roche. And of course, unfortunately, we did lose CZK, Sammy Simeone, Tudor Pressacan, Lolo Vera, and Harvey Cohen. But of course, Dylan Warren barely making it through. And the two brothers, Nicholas and Matteo, very close together within, what? That's 20-ish thousandths of a second there. And I'm sure Nicholas would have.
To be that close.
Yeah, I'm sure Nicholas would have hated it if his brother was ahead of him, considering one of them's in esports and the other one's only just restarted playing F1 24.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's back racing on the F1 games. I think the last time I commentated on him was in the F1 2020 game, but I'm almost certain he raced a few games after that as well, but I just wasn't commentating on PC then. But it's good to be back again. He was a driver that was lower down, and then he finds some time later on in the session to make sure he goes through as the only TRT driver to actually make it through into Q2. But we're not messing around, are we, Nathan? Q2 is just going again, and we're seeing a bunch of cars going out as quickly as they can.
Yeah, all heading out into circuit straight away to get their first Q2 laps underway, and the first one to go out will be Tony Hitala here for FVR. Of course, both of their drivers making it through into Q2, and they've had a decent couple of rounds. Of course, the first two, they didn't get a top 10, but last time out in Canada, the time before last time in Canada, they got a P9, and then, of course, in Mexico, they got P8. And I believe that was also with the fastest lap. So many points being scored for those in that last couple of rounds, and just looking to try and capitalise that now and get a couple of top 10 finishes here tonight in Singapore. Of course, another team that's had a bit of a struggle recently is Tassam Racing Team. You know, P6 in the standings, but could have probably tried to score a few more points out last time in Mexico with a P10 and a P19, but having only one of their driver in Q2 could also be a scary one. As actually, Jess, I can see rain.
I could see rain, and I also saw on my end. I saw a safety car roaming about the track. Yeah.
I've heard people say that before, but I've never actually seen it on track. But I know people have said before, oh, there's a safety car. I'm like, where?
But it's a spectator glitch. The drivers can't see
okay.
it, luckily.
That's a very good thing. But yeah,
But
it's interesting, isn't
Sorry,
it, here, Jess? What would you do if you was in this situation? I know you said that you had a race at Singapore. What would your thoughts be now, heading onto a lap on soft tyres in the rainy conditions?
I would be like, oh God, this is gonna be hell. I think it depends. And the track is already slippy. What I would have done is because the track is quite slippery already, I would have boxed and go on inters because I think you could just about see the spray. So I would go on. I would go on it. I would go on inters because the track is yeah, you can see the droplets on the track. There's nowhere near enough for soft tyres. I think Angelo is doing the right thing here. He's came into the pits and he's going on the intermediate tyres. So he may do a quicker lap than the ones on softs, but we'll find out as we head towards the likes of turn number 8. Oh, it's just so tricky to master in these right on the cuffs conditions. And there's nowhere near the time you want to be on those soft tyres more than right now. And heading towards turn 10, you just got to be so cautious on the throttle. Now, this is the corner, DRS disabled. So I think we're seeing both Veloce Academy cars in the pit lane. So could we see a gold mine for Veloce Academy? I don't think the soft runners are going to be quick here.
No, maybe it will be quicker to go into a set of the intermediates. I mean, a 109.8 in the middle sector, I'm sure. In Q1, in dry conditions, we saw 101s. So we're like, what, 8 seconds off here. So maybe the Inters could be the quicker way to go. And, of course, that's what Veloce Academy are trying to do. As Tony just, slides all the way into the chicane, has lost a lot of time. I could see drivers probably choose to pit here, but no. Tony chooses to complete the lap. Further behind, there's absolute chaos. Everyone kind of thinking, do we pit? Do we stay out? Tony goes to the top there, and he's, 15 seconds off the pace there with a 140.2, and you can see about 5 of them all sliding through the turn 19 and up to the line. And surely the Inters are better here, Jess.
The track's getting worse, Nathan, because you can see on Tony's lap, it wasn't that bad. He was just slipping, and it got worse towards the end of this lap. So that is why Tony Hitala is about 6 tenths quicker than the rest of the field. Everyone else is struggling, and from P10 downwards, they've done the right thing to just scrap their lap and go onto the intermediate tyres, because then they're going to save a set of softs for Q3 if they make it. The ones who are on softs now, their tyres are going to be an absolute nightmare to heat up if they get into Q3. So that's going to be really some issues for those drivers. But I think let's keep an eye on the Veloce Academy drivers. They are the ones who've got the best of the conditions on those intermediate tyres. If they could beat Tony Hitala's time on inters, they made the right decision. But if they could get close to, I would say, the top 5, again, they made the right decision. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. I do see in the chat someone saying, can you put Jess a bit harder? I presume that means higher. But no, I can't. Jess is on max volume for me. not harder, Max.
I put myself on max volume as well. Hold on, let me see if I missed a setting somewhere. I will try and fix that.
If not, Jess just has to shout for the next hour and a half, no matter what.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no, Nathan.
No, I'd say the exact same, Jess. I'd say the exact same thing. No way. Yeah, I'm not sure how to increase the volume on her because Jess is at maximum volume my end, so I'm not.
Max volume my end, so.
Oh, you got a little bit louder there, Jess. I'll be honest. Maybe that helps.
Wait, hold on. I think because Windows have decided to turn me up.
Oh, okay.
Turn me down, sorry. There we go. Is that better?
There we go. Well, it sounds better my end, so hopefully it does replicate that onto Twitch and YouTube. But as we're trying to sort out the audio issues, we do have the 2 of Veloce Academy cars on laps. And let's see what Angelo can do in the first sector. I mean, I think it was a 29 or something.
I wasn't paying attention.
It was like a 29 for Tony. Angelo does a 29.2, but it was the middle and the final sector where everybody on the softs lost most of the time. So you can see Angelo just tries to get the car turned in, just slams the steering wheel to the right and to the left to get that car turned in and try and get some grip out of these wet conditions. And the rain just keeps getting worse and worse as we see Angelo now head his way in towards the old Singapore Sling section, hop the curb as he heads under the Anderson Bridge and down towards turn 13 at the hairpin. Of course, just
He's
trying to throw the
sliding
car
all over the
around.
place.
Yeah, these conditions are horrible at the moment, and we'll see what he can do at the end of this sector. And it's going to be, that's 2 seconds off what Tony did. So it's going to be close if he can get possibly ahead of Nelson Alves, maybe.
I think if he went on the intermediate tyres the same time as Tony did, he would have been quicker for sure. But because the track was worse than what Tony did, of course, the time on those softs would be quicker. So, and Tony's going again on inters. If I was Tony, I would have stayed in the pits. I think his time is enough.
Oh, he's
It's
played a
always
lot.
getting full wet test.
Oh!
Oh, look at that. He found a lot of time in that final sector, Nathan.
Yeah, because it was. I remember now, Jess. It makes sense because on everyone's laps at the end, it was this final corner where everyone was just sliding about, and there's a lot more grip here as Gabriel Quintino goes into second there for Veloci Academy. So we could actually see some vast improvements come through. Of course, Dylan Warren being in the drop zone, Nicholas Longue also being in the drop zone. Ferrari need to now find a lap and find at least something that's representable. Otherwise, they're really going to struggle heading into this race. And remember, they've won the championship in season 2, 3 and 4. And at the moment, they sit 43 points back in 4th place. This is not where Ferrari want to be. And our championship leaders currently sit P9 and 10. They're on the cusp of going out in Q2.
So we've seen RAG, that was second in the championship, had one of their drivers knocked out. Oh, God, if we see TES get knocked out as well, that will be even a much bigger shock. But I think Ferrari will be a bigger shock if they get knocked out as well. It's just about being in the right place at the right time. If you're out early on the inters, you're more than likely going to get through. If you left it late to go out on inters, you're more than likely going to get knocked out of Q2. We're seeing more times being set. Danny is still in second position at the moment, but let's keep an eye on Dylan Warren as he exits turn 17 and now in towards 18 and 19. I think let's see what grip he has on the final corner, and then if he uses a bit of that sausage curb. Nicely done from Dylan Warren. This is a good final set for him. 4th place, but not nearly enough to what we saw Angelo do, but that's probably because the track is getting worse and worse. But for now, that's a solid lap for Dylan Warren.
It certainly is. I'm just trying to find someone here who's actually on, at least on a hot lap, as you do have Reese Linton on a lap. Tony Hitala's down in the 1st sector. But I think that's, of course, because they lost that DRS in Sector 1. But after they did Sector 1, but Sector 2 and Sector 3 is where, you know, the track really starts to affect you when it is in those wet conditions. So, of course, Tony will find time probably in that 3rd sector. Might not even find much in the 2nd sector, to be fair. I know that, you know, Angelo was 2 seconds down on what Tony did after 2 sectors, but ended up finishing 3 seconds ahead of him nearly. So, you know, there's a lot of time to be found in Sector 3. Of course, that final corner being the main perpetrator of it. Of course, on those first runs on the softs, as Tony now will head down towards turn number 14. 1.6 seconds down. And we'll just see in a moment, Jess, how much he can improve by. Because I reckon he can easily jump up into the top 3.
I think he could as well. I'm sure Tony Hitala shouldn't have much problem at all because the final corner is going to be a lot better for him to negotiate than what he was on softs. He could take it a bit more aggressive than he can on softs because he's on the right tyre as well. But here comes Tony Hitala up to the line.
He invalidates.
He validated on the final corner. It's also next lap invalidated as well.
But it was enough to go up into P4. He found a 39.1. As we do see Topias Koivunen there go up into P3. Julian Kleffenbach had an invalidation. Nelson Alves goes up into P5. And I think that was Nicholas Longue up into P8. And that's not looking too good there for Ferrari. And Jan Halliday as well. Let's see what he can do here for TES. Would needs to really get a lap time on the board here, does Jan, of course. Wouldn't like to be going out in Q2. Heads his way through the final corner. Then up towards the line A. What will it be here for Jan Halliday? Goes up into P3.
Wow.
And we'll go on board here with Matteo Longa. There we are. I'm too used to saying Nicholas Longa and not Matteo. Let's see what Matteo can
He's
do.
invalidated as well.
Yeah, he's got an invalidation. So no lap time there by Matteo, but it was 5 seconds off. So he must have made a mistake.
He must have made a mistake. I will keep an eye on Nathan to see if he's got some ERS to use up. So I think as soon as he invalidated, he must be validated quite early on. So he's got some fuel and ERS to save. So he's had a chance to warm his tyres, or maybe it was a banker lap the previous lap and he was able to go again. So Matteo has got plenty of chances for him to sneak himself into the top 10. It's about made it to the top 10 last time. So it's going to be an uphill climb for Matteo, but never say never for the TRT driver, the only TRT driver in this Q2 session. And with 3 minutes to go, not long to go until people do their final laps, and we'll lose the slowest 5 drivers of qualifying. At the moment, it'll be Matteo Longay, Kai Pearson, Florian, Julian Klaffenbach, and Tony Hitala.
It's
At the
Richet.
moment, will be knocked out.
Yes, the other Tony Richet, goes up into third there with a 39.159. Let's see what can Matteo Longay do in this second sector, but I think he might be rather off the pace here. At 111.8, it's around, I think, what Angelo did.
That's what Tony Hitala did on softs earlier on.
Oh, so interesting. We'll see what Matteo can do heading into the final couple of corners. Turn 16 and 17 at the chicane. Of course, got to be careful with the curbs in the wet conditions. Very close to the wall now. As he heads into the final corner, this actually might be a decent lap here for Matteo Longay. Has a slide up to the line. It'll be a 39.7 into P9 and knocks his brother into the elimination zone. Ferrari have Nicholas Longay in the bottom 5. Now that is a big surprise.
And it is very, very, very interesting that Matteo Longay has just knocked his brother off at the moment. Can the Ferrari drivers get it out of the pits in time and set a lap? Because it's going to be it has to be a very quick out lap. I see one of the Ferraris out on an out lap as quickly as they can. That's Dylan Warren. Of course he is. He's right on the bubble. I think we saw in Q1 it was dry. Only a few people were tired. You can't do that in this session. I think everyone has to go out here just to find the most grip. But Jan Halliday is not thinking so. He's thinking that no one else can improve. But will that come back to bite him? Of course, we'll have to wait and see. He's going to hope that the ones on outlaps won't make it out in time and invalidate. And with a track so easy to invalidate as this, it's much more easy to invalidate, of course, when we are in the wet conditions. We've got, I think, I'm just trying to see if anyone's on in laps. We've got Florian, who's on his best lap in P14 at the moment.
Oh, that was a massive slide. Sorry, just Julian nearly did a Lance Stroll heading into the final corner. The car went sideways and luckily he got a lap on the board there.
I have noticed that the track is getting better as well. It is not as bad as it was before. So if I was Tony Jan Halliday, I'll be a bit worried there. But yeah, I was jumping out of my seat when I saw the slides from some of these drivers. Matteo is coming into the pits. He's not going to have enough time. So has he left it too early to do his lap? Well, we'll find out in about more than 30 seconds time, in about 2 minutes time, who's going to make it through. Kai Pearson has probably timed it to perfection. He's just started his lap, but he's struggling in that first sector already with the sliding. We've got the 2 Ferraris about to start their lap, and as I can see, the safety car again, which I find quite funny. As Danny's just about to start his lap as well. Get your prediction in chat. Who do you think will be the surprise elimination in Q2, and who do you think will get knocked out?
It's going to be a close one. I mean, I think you could say possibly anyone at this point because the track seems to be getting better. I mean, I can visibly see that on my screen as well. Of course, Reese Linton only manages P9 there with a 39.564. Jumps ahead of Matteo Longay. So, of course, these two very close to being eliminated and could easily be eliminated in this Q2 session. Of course, Ferrari, both of their drivers have got to find key time to jump up into that top 10. I mean, it's around a 10th and a half between P10 and P9. So they've got a lot of time to find on this next lap. As we do see here. Yeah, and Quintino's also down on his time in Sector 2 on a 39.4. It says purple on our map, but it means nothing. Van Zelter into the top 7 here for ABS. They could have their first Q3 appearance here this season as we head our way through turn 16 and 17. Now Quintino is on an improvement, I believe, as he heads his way into the final couple of corners. The track does seem to be getting a little bit drier, or at least the rain seems to be calming down a little bit more. Quintino goes up into P5, jumps ahead of Topias Koivunen, and we have Kai Pearson knocked out in Q2 there for Race Clutch. That's a big surprise and a big loss for Race Clutch. Julian Klaffenbach also has retired. I think just went back into the pit lane, so of course must have had an invalidation on that lap. Can Dylan Warren get an improvement here, Jess?
Dylan up to the line, he goes 10th and he knocks Reese Linton and Matteo Longay off, and Danny
Oh, he's out!
Both Ferraris at the moment are out. What can Nicholas do? Nicholas just scraped through, but Dylan Warren, another surprise upset. One Ferrari driver is out of Q2, but one driver, Nicholas Longue, makes it in.
A big surprise at the end there, and also Julian Klaffenbach was out. So Nelson Alves got a lap right in at the end, and has unfortunately sent both. It sent one RAG pack and the other one was sent packing earlier on. But of course, a big shame for Dylan Warren, Reese Linton, Matteo Longue and Kai Pearson. So the big ones to take away from that, both race clutches, an RAG and a Ferrari not making it into Q2. We have one TF10, we have a CPI and an ABS making their way into Q3.
Well, I have to say, those teams have shown... Well, pretty much, I don't think we have any prestigious esports team through into Q3. RAG's out, so is Race Clutch, and so is Ferrari. The community teams are outshining, it seems, the established esports teams, Nathan.
They certainly are. And I've got to say, in the chat, I can see people saying Tony, but there's two Tonys, so I don't know which one you're on about.
Tony is it?
So be more specific. Just say Hitala or Richet. That makes it a lot easier for us to kind of understand who you're actually on about. But DRS has been enabled, Jess. The drivers can calm down because we've gone from dry to wet, back to dry.
Well, that is quick then. How did the rain go all of a sudden, Nathan?
In 2 minutes.
I don't know what that... It's gone from monsoon to really dry in the space of like 10 minutes. I'm only joking. It's a game after all.
Yeah, and it's not a good one at that, at least. Oh, dear. I know you can't say much, Jess, so I'll kind of leave it at that. But we do have Danny Van Noyten on on an out lap now, heading out down towards turn one, of course, yet again making a Q3 appearance here for CPI. Would certainly love to try and get into that top 5.
Yeah, he definitely want to get into that top 5, I'm almost certain. And I think he was one of the surprises in that Q2 session, getting a lap, which saw him safely through into Q3 as well. So that's going to be very impressive as he negotiates his lap at the moment. And now, since we're in this Q3 session, this is going to be for a huge advantage for the ones who did not attempt to go on the softs in Q2. If they didn't use the softs in Q2, they're going to have 2 fresh tyres. Of course, every driver that made it through to Q3 gets the free set anyway. But there's quite a lot of drivers that will have a fresh set if they didn't use a soft tyre in Q2 at all. So the ones who started on engines in Q2 are going to be in for a huge advantage. Like, for example, the drivers in Veloce Academy, or even the drivers that have only done like pretty much half a lap on the softs just to see that if it was right for set the softs or to go on to the inters. So we'll see what Danny could do as he starts his lap. He's got some clear air in front of him. I think one of the Veloce Academy cars is got some clear air as well, or it might be one of the other cars. Oh no, it's Tony Hitala who's got some clear air as well. Don't just get different colours, please, because it's very confusing. Danny's in the pits.
Yes, so not going to go on with that lap. And I did see in the chat there, Jack Perry says, what happened to Mr. Warren? Where's he been? Out of Q2, yeah. Got knocked out, P11. Got knocked out by Nelson Alves right at the end of the session. And unfortunately, we're not going to see much more of him until the race, which is in around 15 minutes' time. So make sure not to go anywhere, Jack. He will be back on your screen very shortly. But of course, we've got Q3 to go with first. And at the moment, we do have Tony Hitala on his first flying lap, heading down towards turn number 4 and 5. Of course, get the car turned in nicely, back on the power. Of course, now using that DRS down towards turn number 6 at this little kink to the right, and then turn 7 at the braking zone. So you can see there, 25.8, a lot quicker than what we saw in Q2. Around 5 seconds quicker than what we saw in Q2 as we head our way through and towards turn on to the left hand to get the car thrown in over the curb, run wide on the exit, try not to hit the barrier as you head your way down towards turns 10, 11 and 12. The old Singapore Sling section, a lot easier to travel through now. But of course, still those curbs can be quite lethal if you take them at the wrong angle. Then to the hairpin at turn 13, misses the apex slightly, but still carried a lot of speed through, so shouldn't harm him too much here on this first attempt in Q3. and now heads down in towards the braking zone for turn 14. Hops a curb on the inside, bit of a slide on the exit. Of course, the curbs can unsettle the car as you now head your way down towards turn 16, right up to the wall before moving back over to the left-hand side. And then, of course, into the chicane. Hop 1 curb, hop 2, run wide on the 3rd as you enter your way into turn 18 and turn 19. And we'll see what the first lap time of the session will be. It's going to be a 125.614.
Yeah, that is a solid lap for Tony Hitala thus far, but it might have been on you soft, you don't know. Maybe people just getting to grips with this track, as we're seeing, I think, one other car that's just about to finish their lap as well. We've got, I think, the TS driver just about to start his lap route towards turn 2 and 3. Nicely done from them thus far. Purple set to 1, by the way. For Gabriel Quintino, I can't even pronounce the name to save the life of me. I do apologise. He recently, Nathan, got promoted to F2 from F3, which I think is a huge achievement. He is really an upcoming star in the esports world, and he's definitely showing it right now by making it into Q3 at Veloce Academy.
He certainly is. The only thing that lets him down is his Brazilian internet. If that didn't exist, believe me, a lot more people would be noticing him, because he's a great driver, but sometimes does get hampered by having that poor connection and ping in a server. As we do see Tony Richet go to the top there by 0.3 of a second there, a 125.301. We do have Angelo D'Ortenzio, the teammates to Gabriel Quintino, now on a lap, heading through out of turn 14, down towards turn 16 and 17 at the final chicane. We'll see what he can do and what lap time he can set on the board as Quintino goes into second place. So Richet still holds on to that provisional pole position. Surely Angelo should put a fight to this one as he heads through the final corner now. Up to the line here for Angelo D'Ortenzio to the top by just over 0.2 of a second. Now, I've got to say, that certainly isn't a surprise, because in qualifying, Angelo is certainly one of the best.
He is a qualifier. He is a driver that could set 1 lap paces very comfortably, but I wonder how he's going to perform in terms of the race.
Oof.
And here we go. We've got Jan Halliday for TES. P1, so we got 2 Veloce Academy cars and 2 TES cars in the top 5. I think those are one of the only teams to have both their cars make it through to Q3. Another one of those teams is FBR. FBR have had a very strong qualifying session, so those 3 teams are the teams to keep an eye on to see who's going to get pole position today. Obviously, don't count out Nicholas Longay. He's going to find his feet a little bit in this session, but with him being the only the only Ferrari driver in this field at the moment, he's got some huge shoes to fill to make sure he can get Ferrari high up the grid.
He certainly has, and so far, he hasn't looked that strong, I think, even in Q1 and Q2. But here in Q3, he's nearly half a second off the lap time of Jan Halliday, so it's not looking that good here for Nicholas Longape. So certainly we'll be looking to try and find an improvement heading into the final part of this qualifying session, as we do see Florian van Zelter on an out lap now, so of course not setting a lap yet in this session, and looking to go quite out of sync compared to everybody else. And of course on a brand new set of the soft tyres, of course, because we had the rain in Q2, everybody had more than enough sets in Q3 to use brand new sets and not have to use their used sets from Q1. So we'll see here what Florian can do as he heads into the final corners now, into turn 18 and 19, the final corner. We'll see what he can do now as he heads his way down to turn 1. Of course, would love to try and get maybe a top 6, a top 7. I mean, even a top 10 would be good here for ABS. Of course, they haven't scored that many points in this championship, haven't even scored a top 10 yet this season, and last time out had P18 and a DNF, so they only took, I think, 3 points in total. So tonight, they could certainly look to try and close up to CPI if Florian can try and get a top 5, top 6 here.
To be fair, Florian has very impressed me as well in this qualifying session, being the only ABS driver to make it through. And we always like those huge upsets and huge shocks and huge surprises, don't we? Where we see a team that we do not expect make it through into Q3 and then go into the top 5 potentially. And that's what E-Series is about. Obviously, you've got the established teams, as we've got a bit more of a slide from Florian as he makes his way through the bridge, heading towards the hairpin once more. In second, but I know some people are brave and take it in 3rd gear if they want to. I don't do that, because otherwise I lose a bit of traction through there. 4th gear through turn 13, runs a little bit wide to make sure he doesn't get invalidated. Heavy on the straight here as well. Use a lot of the overtake if you dare, but he wants to save a bit of ERS for the final few corners as he heads towards 17 and 18. Nobody's going into the pits.
And Jess, we had some a message in the chat saying it's going to start raining again, maybe.
Ah.
So that could definitely throw an upset in this session, as we do have cars probably ready to go out. And I mean, that message there is from one of the FER engineers, so that could also just be a bit of a blunder to try and get everyone to go out early, so FER can have the best track conditions at the end. And quick message there from Nevio. Yes, Matteo is the brother of Nicholas. They
A
are
very fast
indeed.
brother at that.
And they are both the sons of the head of Virage. And I didn't know this till about an hour ago, that the father of both Nicholas and Matteo, he's the head of Virage, the glove company. I never knew that.
Really?
Yeah, I never knew until about an hour ago. I saw him pop a message in Twitter. I clicked on his account, get him a follow, and I thought, oh, head of Virage now. I never knew that. So you do learn something new every day.
Exactly. I was not expecting that. If you did not know that in chat, there we go. You
Fun
learn
fact.
something new every day. Yeah, fun fact. So we got TF10, 2 FER drivers, 1 TES driver out on circuit. I think though, even if it might rain, I don't think it'll be enough to go on to Inters anyway. So I think they'll just about be okay. As we're seeing, I think obviously TF10 is going to see the best of the conditions if it starts to rain.
Yeah.
The FER boys running in tandem. As what just happened, Nathan?
I've got to say, Jess, Carson says he lied and no one fell for it. So lesson learned, don't listen to Carson in the chat because he lies and tries to trick everyone.
I thought
I mean, and if it starts raining now and it turns out he was lying in the first place, then that would even be more crazy, wouldn't it? That would throw another twist into it. But no, the track is perfectly dry as we head our way onto the final laps.
Because we saw both FER boys and Tony Richet go up. Nobody else was budging.
Yeah, so there's like, oh, I didn't want to,
So-
damn it. But Longay is right at the back of the field. Who else is with him there, right at the back? That would be Angelo D'Ortenzio. So they're going
Yeah,
quite
I
late, and Richet's just about to start his lap, Jess. So we'll see if that disparity of some drivers starting their laps now and some of them starting their laps in around a minute's time, we'll see if that makes any difference in this session.
Now we know that it's not going to rain. Thanks, Carson. I think the later you go out, the better conditions you'll be. But he heads towards this next section. It gets a little bit hairy, so he's got to be careful. A little kink coming up in towards turn 6, heading now towards turn 7. 4th gear, downshift, start rotating in towards the apex. Another right-hander coming up through turn 8. Make sure you start to lift off the brake pedal as soon as you can. Heading towards turn 9 now. Again, make sure that you avoid too much of the coke, otherwise you're going to be the spot border. Turns 10 now, again in 4th gear. Aim your car as far to the left as possible through the bridge, and then just seat your car to the right, and then flick it to the left, flick it hard through the hairpin, which he is doing at the moment. You can see though, Nathan, he's used less ERS compared to everybody else, so I wonder if he wants to use more in this final sector. He is on a good lap, Tony Richet. Apparently he's purple middle sector, but that probably means nothing on this game. But for Q3, it's just about to end. Let's see who's going to be on pole.
Well, Richet was up by 2/10 in that middle sector here, so could be looking to get closer to the time of Angelo D'Ortenzio as he heads into the final corner now. What can Tony Richet set on the board? It will be up into provisional P2 there. On the front row here for Tony Richet, as we've got many cars still on their laps here, as we do see Topius into P4. Hitala goes to the top with a 24.919. Looking to try and take pole position here in this session is FVR. What can Nelson Alves do? He stays into P6. What about Jan Halliday up by a 10th in that first and second sector as Gabriel Quintino goes into third. Can Halliday take the top spot for TES to the line? Yes, he can. An 8-1-1 up by a 10th over Tony Hitala. Danny Van Ruyten into P5. What about Nicholas Longe? He's had an invalidation, so he will be starting P10 as Florian Van Zelter goes into P7. What about Angelo D'Ortenzio for Veloci Academy? Can he take pole? No, he can't. I think it was third. So our top, so second. So on the front row there for Angelo D'Ortenzio. But FVR with the top 3. And TES back to the normal to the normality of the season, onto the top spot by 62 thousandths with Jan Halliday.
They are strong qualifier for a reason, and 62 thousandths is nothing to be sniffed at. But Angelo, he was so close. It looked like he got pole there, but he just made one small mistake, I think, in the middle sector that cost him a little bit, and that's what not helped him there. But great to have both Veloce Academy drivers in the top 5, and we got one of the FER cars dropped down in P8, but Nicolas Longue only down in P10. He's got a lot of work to do in the race, starting near his teammate Dylan Moran. But this is going to be a good race, I think. We don't know who's going to win. TES is back on form. RAG are pretty much in the middle half, in the mid pack. We know Turn 1 could get a bit hairy in Singapore.
It's going to be an interesting one. I can't wait. I can't wait to get into the action. But of course, we have our restart, so we'll be back with you all very shortly. We're just going to have a quick word from our sponsors at GT Omega. And we are back, and Jess's camera has been turned off for some reason. Jess, I think you need to switch the camera back on. We're seeing the Elgato hub, or virtual camera.
It always has a habit of playing up, so I do apologise. Can you get like the race lineups or something, or the calendar up?
We'll put on the... Actually, yeah, good point, Jess. We'll put on the calendar, because we've got, obviously, this race here at Singapore, then another 5. So we are at the halfway point of the season. And, of course, here today at Singapore. Next time out, we're at Monza. Then we have Jeddah for round 7. We have our Christmas break as we enter 2025, starting that off with Belgium, Azerbaijan for round 9, and Brazil for round 10. I mean, what a final half of the season we got, Jess. I mean, I know you do a lot of league racing. What would you pick out of those 5? Monza, Saudi, Belgium, Azerbaijan, or Brazil?
Oh, they're all good tracks. I think I like every single one of them, apart from, I would say, Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I hate Baku. I can't drive it.
I can't drive it. But for some reason, I hated it on the last few games to racing. But on this game, I have a laugh in it, and it's very technical if you get it right. I love Jeddah. We always have a laugh commentating around Jeddah, you know. It is great. It is great to watch. So, yeah. As I'm trying to figure out my camera's having a few issues, but yeah, I think Jeddah. I would say Jeddah and Belgium. I would say the tracks I wouldn't mind racing at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking in the chat as well, and Avatar says half of the drivers don't have a rain setup. Well, if I remember correctly, I'm sure with this track as well, it's just a high downforce circuit anyway. I think you run on the higher side, so it doesn't matter as much as if you was at maybe Belgium, where you do run lower wings, or not Austria, or I'm thinking Monza, where you do run low wings. This track isn't that bad if you have to go to the rain, because you're running quite high downforce. You're already not going that fast through many of the corners. It's quite a slow circuit, so yeah, I don't think it'll hold them that much if they enter the race on a dry setup. And I do see in the chat there, Anthony saying, how much of those GT sim rigs? I mean, I'd love to tell you, but I don't know. The best way, Anthony, to find out is by jumping onto the GT Omega website, have a little browse through. If you do want to buy anything, make sure to use code PSGL for, I believe it's a 5% discount. And, it might not be that much, but it helps us, it helps you, and also helps GT Omega. And you can definitely get yourself some very good chairs. I think they're the rigs, chairs. I think they're also partnering with some of the sim companies when it comes to equipment. I mean, I've got a chair from GT Omega. I've had this since 2022. It's 2 years old. I got this gifted by GT Omega through PSGL, and it's still in perfect condition. 2 years old, Jess, and it's still in perfect condition. So, there's nothing up with them.
Mine is as well. And I before I had this chair, I've had quite a few back problems when I've been racing and commentating. But since I've had this chair, no back problems. It's just So comfy. You just
They
can't
are.
go wrong with GT. You just can't go wrong with GT Omega. So please. And also, if you need some ideas on what to get for Christmas, just get a GT Omega chair or a rig or something
Yeah.
using the discount code, and even treat yourself this Christmas as well. It'll be good to see some gifts from GT Omega. So thank you once again. We couldn't do PSGL without them. It's been a long partnership, but a very good one at that.
It certainly has. I mean, I'm going to be buying one of the GT Omega rigs hopefully soon, so I'm going to next year try and get a proper setup. Might get a Fanatec of Mo's, or I'm not sure yet. But I'm definitely going to get a
Oh.
Logitech. No, I've got that now. I'm definitely going to get a GT Omega rig to go with it because you know they're really good rigs. They're also on the cheaper side. I've seen some of them and they are really high price. But
They're
GT Omega,
expensive, aren't they?
yeah, a lot cheaper. And Anthony says, I'd love to, but bills. Well, luckily, I don't know anything about bills, so I'm only 20 and I haven't got a full time
Oh,
job yet.
I wish I know nothing about bills, but I've started paying some recently. But yeah, but hopefully next year Nathan will sound a lot better because he is planning to
Yeah.
also get a new mic.
Finally, after many years. I mean, this one's on the end of its tether now. The ear muff on the left falls out. I've got electric tape all down the wire because I keep getting electrocuted by the
I can
bare
hear you
wire.
breathing sometimes as
You
well.
can,
and I'm
you can
sure
hear the
people in the
breathing. I
chat-
mean, this poor mic, I've had it for 2 years. It's had to put up with my voice shouting for 2 years. You know, it's going to get, well, not chucked in the bin. I'm going to probably give it to someone for free. I'll
Since
say,
I've
have
known
that. I don't, yeah, probably it has been that long, I reckon. I think I got this mic when I got my PC like no, well, not when I got my PC, but when I started commentary back in 2022, like March time. So it's
You're welcome.
I know, yeah. Without Jeff, I wouldn't be here now. I'd probably still be trying to get more than being 2 seconds off the pace on the F1 game.
You're quicker. You're quicker than me, Nathan. Just say that. You're way quicker than me.
Well, I mean, give it time, Jess. I'm sure you'll be a lot quicker than me.
We'll
Streams.
see, we'll see.
Did you see what Victoria said in the chat? Streams turning into Nathan making his Argos Christmas list. I mean, if anyone would like to purchase those items for me, that's more than fine. I'm not going to say no to that. Definitely not. So if anyone wants to spend some money,
Other products are available, of course, but yeah, make sure you check out GT Omega.
definitely. So yeah, if anyone wants to buy me anything, feel free. that's fine by
Or you
me.
can use a discount code to buy
Or you
Nathan
could
a
do.
GT Omega rig.
Exactly. See, it's all relevant in the end. It all makes sense. But that's what happens when we have these like breaks in between the quality and race. We just have to ramble on about anything. I mean, the conversations me and Josh have had in here, I can't even remember half of them. I think one of them was about what we was all having for tea, one of our favourite takeaways were. We had lots of arguments in the chat saying, I think Chinese is better, I think Italian's better, I think kebabs are better. Everyone was going on about it. We've had some right little debates in here. We could definitely go into the F1 debates, but I'd like to not because I feel like that can get quite heated.
No, because I think there's been a lot going on in the F1 world, of course, but not gonna say too much about it. But you know, the team that I was very impressed with this week in obviously the E Series, Veloce Academy. You know how Veloce Academy was struggling to get off the ground in some races.
Yeah.
They got 2 very quick drivers this time. They got to think about the racing now. They've had their qualifying out the way. They've got to focus on how they work together in the race. And if they can improve themselves in the race, then they'll probably be biggest improvers from Mexico to Singapore. So yeah, Veloce Academy on my teams of the night so far.
There's 2 people that aren't in the session, right? Harvey's joined. I'm trying to figure out who is left to join the session because someone isn't here. Unfortunately.
We got 2 TRTs. I think it might be ABS. There's 1 ABS driver missing. It's Florian. There he is. Florian's joining. Hopefully.
Yes, he is. Hopefully.
Oh, and then we still have 1 missing.
I don't have a clue. Then I don't have a clue what's going on here. So someone's not in the session. Hopefully they'll join back soon. We can get underway. Benza says ABS Q3 will be there. Yes, and well, you haven't been in Q3 for a while. Will Gibson says, doesn't matter how our qualifying goes, because we will be getting double stacked for the 6th time. Oh yeah, Will Gibson hasn't shut up to me over the past couple of weeks about being double stacked. Just constantly, we're being double stacked. He hasn't shut up about it. The team have lost a lot of points. Yeah, who cares? Take that, Will. Who cares? I mean, oh dear me, yeah. They've had a lot of double stacks. I do feel bad for them. They've lost podiums in the past couple of rounds. They've lost, I think, a possibility of a win as well in the last couple of rounds as well. A big shame for Veloci Academy. I mean, Benzo was on pole in Canada. I think got damaged, dropped down to like P7, P8. You know, they've had a rough time, and I think without the unluckiness they've had, they could easily be fighting for top 2, top 3, I reckon, because you know it's not been the best start to their season. I mean, you remember back to I think season 1, they were second place in the standings. But yeah, got to see. And Mateo says shots fired. What to who? Well, Gibson, it'd take a lot of shots to take him down. Believe me. Oh dear me. Yeah, I'm gonna be lethal to Will because he made me record a TikTok of me dancing. I didn't enjoy that.
Oh God!
It's got 1K views on TikTok. I'm not happy.
Only 1K.
Yeah, it could be a lot more.
Right, if you haven't seen it, go on Nathan's TikTok and make the views go up now.
Oh dear me, yeah, it's quite
Oh God.
an embarrassing moment.
But you can also check PSGL on TikTok at PremierSimGL. There we go, cheeky plug.
Yeah, they reposted my TikTok.
Oh,
whoever that was, I think it was Oscar. I think it was Oscar who was on the account, or Connor. That was the best I've seen today.
Oscar no longer manages the account
anymore. I don't know who it was then. It must have been Connor.
It must be Connor.
Oh dear me. I mean, at least he likes it, I suppose. It's deserved. Be quiet, Will. Right, who's this last driver and where are they? Right.
We had 20 just a minute
it's the
ago,
ABS
but
car.
then someone just left.
Yeah, the ABS, Florian.
Whatever his name is.
Florian Fanzelta.
Fanzelta, yeah.
Right,
we're
let's see
waiting on
what's
him
happening.
and then we can get going.
Looking in general. Is it a new lobby or not?
Is he struggling to join?
Nah. So Dylan wants us to hurry up because he's going clubbing after this.
And Connor was warning people earlier because of how long the track is to get going quite quickly.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
I think they should give a start time on when they could start. If they're not hitting the lobby by that time, tough. As you could probably tell.
Sorry, guys, have to restart again. According to Florian. So hopefully not too long to go before he works his way into the session. We can actually get started with our race.
I keep getting loads of notifications of people playing F124, even though they're already in F124.
Right. Come on, guys. There's nothing to talk about now, is there? Absolutely nothing to talk about. Right, guys, in the chat, I'm going to be a bit risky with it and ask you all a question. Give us a topic to talk about.
Oh, God.
PG-13 as well, please.
I do not talk about the F1 drama.
We could watch a TikTok while we wait. No, certainly not.
We'll get copyrighted, and Connor will hate us for that. Plus, I would fire Nathan. Well, Josh will fire Nathan. I'm not his boss. Josh is.
Oh, dear me.
Talk about... Oh, God, yeah. Talk about Ted's lineup. We already talked about Ted's lineup.
Talk about Tesla. What? What about the Tesla? The fact it's been the same driver since round 1 and we're at round 5? Oh, fuck's sake.
I've got some stuff to talk about the circuit, but we can leave that to the end.
Yeah, sorry for swearing on stream, guys. I'm trying to read everything at the same time. I completely forgot I was live. Oh, dear me. Who's winning UCL? UCL. I don't know. Oh, I don't have a clue. Please, Birmingham City. What about them? The fact they're the best team in League One? Exactly. I mean, UCL-wise, as long as Villa don't win it, I'm happy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the part when Nathan goes off topic in a PSGL stream.
Feyenoord.
I
mean, Feyenoord nearly beat City 3-3. Do you watch football at all, Jess? I know you're from... Where are you from again? You're down south, aren't you?
I'm from Plymouth, but I don't watch football at all. And
I'm
kind of glad.
Plymouth?
Apparently, our team is doing rubbish. So
yes, because you got the manager we had that got us relegated last season.
Yeah, and there's and the fans want him gone from that team.
Yes, I wanted him gone, and he went to your team instead. We're going in. Yes,
let's get going. Here is Singapore. Florian is in. Dylan is readied up. Everyone's about to ready up. We're about to get going for 31 laps of Singapore. we could stop the off-topic chat, Nathan, and get going.
Exactly, finally. Oh, it's taken so long filling that, and we can now go into the race. Oh, and still more things in the chat. Nathan, thoughts on me crashing key in Singapore at my first hot lap in WOR? I mean, I love you a lot, Kieran, but I don't remember that, unfortunately. I remember you winning in CTC many times, though. Hi, Will, says here, Lund. What about hi to me and Jess, Leo? Rude. Go Lola Vera. Lola Vera's out the top 15, but can still try and get some decent points. And then Will Gibson says, hi, Leo. It's FCB. No, not at all. Right, Jess. Oh, finally. We've had to wait so long, and we can get into the race. And I'm going to give you the pleasure of taking us underway for the start.
Wow. Okay, I thought you were going to do it. You put me right under the bus here, Nathan. Thank you.
A bit of pressure hurts no one.
Exactly. It's good to have some pressure. I have not done a proper start in league racing in a few weeks now. I've done it in fun little races, but not in league races like this. So this is going to be exciting. So watch out for turn 1, which is really heavy braking. I think we're going to see quite a lot of people looking their tyres up. Probably people going wide just to avoid the potential chaos that could ensue as well. Fast left-hander go through turn 5, little kick of turn 6. Turn 7 will be a prime overtaking spot. I think we could see some DOS chicken as well. Turn 13, like I said, a lot of people can get caught out. And then the final corner where they could really go for power. I'm just starting to, I'm seeing on one of the garages, Nathan, I see one team goes wanted to opt for the hard tyres unless they're trying to trick us.
Could be. I can look at the race director, and there is a couple of people going for the hard. So it could be a medium hard, a hard medium. I don't think we'll see softs at all here unless there's a safety car right at the end.
Nah. Do not go on soft. It's only good for right at the end of the race if there's a late safety car. Even then, even then after a few laps at the end of the race, it's a nightmare. So if I were you, start on the hard on the mediums, but obviously it's depend on if we get an early safety car. But I've raced around here before, but anyway, shut up about the nonsense. We're about to get going. 5 red lights for the next round of the E-Series in Singapore. And it is time to rock and roll at PSGL. And Jan Halliday will see if he gets a good start. He's under pressure from one of the Lotte Academy cars, but he defends very nicely through T1. Now all of them heading towards turn 2. Some fast action. One of the old cars. We've got Danny Van Holten in the P5. He's the check for on the side, through to the 5th, one of the TD guys is away, better place to start from him. We've got 2 cars trying to make a break, but can't quite do it at that time. It's all clean so far at the start, luckily. You're expecting Nathan Alves going to comment on chaos. Luckily, we have chaos this far, but this is the tricky part in towards turn 9, which they got to negotiate. Now, all of the RAG cars have gone off.
Oh my, that was a massive slide there from Klaffenbach heading out of turn 9 into turn 10. We do see further back there, Harvick going into P16, trying to get past Sammy Simeone. Sammy's going to take him all the way through under the Anderson Bridge. Oh, and that's big collision into the wall. Harvick and Sammy Simeone probably going to be fully out of this one. We have a virtual safety car. A penalty was given there to Sammy Simeone by the game. And I mean, I've got to say, with an unbiased opinion, it looks like Sammy pushed Harvey into the wall a little bit there.
Apparently, my audio is a bit lagging Discord, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, same class audio in the chat.
See, the thing is, on stream, everything's fine. I don't have a clue. I'm sorry, guys. What's up with the audio? Do you want to give your Discord a quick restart, Jess? Because there's nothing happening in my end, at least. Everything's still as it should be.
Oh, we've got a few drivers have gone into the pitch due to...
Is it Jess?
It's not laggy your end.
Is it Jess's audio or mine? Just Jess? Oh. I don't know. Weird. Because it's fine through Discord, at least. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Very odd.
That is very weird indeed. Just playing the game.
If I restart and rejoin again, that could probably change it.
Yeah, give that a try. Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah, I'll restart Discord.
Right, let's see what happens. See if Jess can get everything sorted while we continue on with the action here. Of course, back under green flag conditions, and Matteo Longe on the attack of Julian Klaffenbach, and also Reese Linton as well, looking to close in behind and make a move on Matteo Longe as they head their way through into turn on and down towards turn 10 at the Singapore Sling section. And of course, at the front, it is Gabriel Quintino that leads ahead of Tony Hitala and Turner O'Shea in third. The two Tonys second and third. And for Veloci Academy, of course, we've got Angelo Deltenzio's P14. Has he had a pit stop there? He has. So I didn't realise people have pitted already onto new tyres. So they're going to go to... Right, Jess.
Hello.
We've had people pit already to go to the end. Half of our medium runners went into the pit lane.
Well, first of all, can someone check in the chat if my audio's fine? If I'm not a robot, can someone let me know? I can understand why people are wanting to pit now, because I think I did 7 or 8 laps on hards and they were still like 2-4%.
Yeah.
The hards around this track, they could last a fortune.
Yeah,
so...
they're working. Audio.
Oh, is it working? Woohoo! Thanks, guys.
Shut up, Will.
It's just Discord being an absolute nightmare.
It is, as Discord always is.
But yeah, if I lag again, let me know on our course I'll restart. As Julian Claffinbot gets past Dylan Warren up to P8. And great to see quite a few drivers gain positions, obviously due to a lot of people pitting. But if you were racing around Singapore, would you have pitted down for hards?
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to try and get someone to engineer me and see what they'd say, because I wouldn't have a clue at all. Strategy-wise,
hards can get to the end for me.
If they can, go for it. Why not? Because that's what TES did in Abu Dhabi. They pitted really early on an alternate strategy and managed to get a P2, and I think it was, P2 and P3. So maybe they can go for it again this time and get a P1 and a P3. And people in the chat still questioning whether they should have had to pit or not. Will Gibson saying I would have pit. Maxi saying, yeah, we could, but we didn't. And also Dylan Ray saying, oh no, you shouldn't have pit. So many different opinions of what to do regarding the pit stops early on lap 1 when we had that VSC. Of course, the VSC saves you around, I think, nearly 10 seconds on your pit stop. So Jan Halliday is only 13 seconds behind, well, 16 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, now that is interesting that they lost quite a bit of time. But remember that the pit lane loss around here, it's quite a long track for a pit lane loss, around 26, 27 seconds. So if they get this undercut right, then that's really going to help them for the rest of the race. Surely that may mean that a safety car may come later, and then they could go on to another set of mediums later on. But from experience, the mediums don't last very long either. So maybe they just want to be on hards for like a long period of time, as we've got 5/10 of a second separating Gabriel and Tony Hitala for P1 and P2. Not moves being made near the front, but you can see Kai Pearson down the inside of the CPI driver through into the tight little chicane in turn 7. Nicely done with the DRS up into 60 plays. I think someone who's also close is Topius for P6, as he almost had a bit of a side coming out of the XF13. Right on the gearbox through 14. This is going to be a great move if he can make it stick. 9 towards 16 and 17 now. The dirty air around here is absolutely a nightmare. So I think these drivers are going to struggle a little bit here if they can't make this work. But here is Topius trying to go for moving towards turn number 1. Down the inside. Clips that inside curve maybe? Nope, he's going to back off for the time being. He's going to wait, I think, for turn 5.
Yeah, you can see Topius just backing off a little bit, heading into turn 1. Went for a bit of a move, but backed out at the last second and allowed Florian to keep that P5 for now. As we head our way down towards turn number 6 and 7. Once again here, in towards this horrible little braking zone. Does Topius go for a move? No, he does not. As we head our way through in towards turn 8 at the right-hander, of course. A very difficult corner to get right, very easy to lock up under braking there, and of course then into turn on, of course very easy to also get into collisions here if you run a little bit wide and hit that barrier on the outside as you head your way through turns 10, 11 and 12, and then of course through the Anderson Bridge down towards turn 13 at the hairpin. It's a very difficult middle sector here around Singapore, and we can see in the chat as well Sam McLean making a good point, saying there will be another safety car anyways. It's Singapore. Very true. I'm sure you could see a safety car.
3 safety cars in my Singapore race on Tuesday. So you backed up. You proved my theory correctly there.
Yeah, it's very easy to cause safety cars. I mean, you know, we've seen it. We've seen a VSC on lap 1. I mean, just say Harvey or Sammy went a little bit quicker into that corner. One of them would have lost a wheel, and that would have been a full safety car probably. So, you know, very lucky not to get that full safety car. I thought Harvey would have been out of the race, hitting the wall there, and at the angle he did.
Time on VSC than normal green flag conditions.
Yeah.
As well. So that's another point. If there was no VSC, they would have stayed out. But since there was a VSC, you would have lost more time if you pitted under green flag. So
yeah, you certainly would have done. As to be fair, Gabriel's not really pushing that hard. I mean, he's taking it quite conservatively at the moment. You can see cars are just, you know, forced just to sit back and not make those moves. So Gabriel just carrying the pace quite nicely. As we do see Julian Klaffenbach there closing in on the rear of Nicolas Longuet, heading into turn 7 and 8 now. Went alongside Nicolas heading down to turn 7, but then backed out, heading into the braking zone. So still in that top 8, and of course near the back of that leading train. And you can see further back, of course, Jan Halliday and Down have already pitted, so they could go to the end. Not sure why Lolo Vera went on to a set of the mediums, because they won't get to the end at all. So Lolo will definitely have to make a pit stop again as CZK passes Kai Pearson into turn 7, and it's rare that you see a CPI overtaking a race clutch. Kai Pearson won't be too happy with that one as they head their way into turn number 9.
he is struggling a little bit for grip, isn't he, at the moment? But it may be that his hard tyres taking a bit longer to warm up. I know, but some drivers it does. So maybe it will come better a little bit further into the race, or maybe his tyre pressures are set to a situation where the tyres do get cold, so you do have to warm them up a little bit. It's Kai Pearson, so he's going to try and find a way to overtake somehow, but there was a bit of contact for the exit of turn 13, so no harm done there.
Definitely not, as we do see, of course, a big shame for Harvey and Sammy though, right at the back of the field, P19, P20, and it just shows around a circuit like this that you get into contact on that first lap and it really knocks you out of any chance of getting decent points for the race. Of course, in a normal format, you get no points, but here you get points from P1 down to P20, so at least they can still contribute to their team here in this race, but it just won't be the type of points that R8G and TF10 would have been looking for.
Definitely not, especially how close the likes of R8G especially are in this championship fight, and you wouldn't want to be fighting for last place, so you probably want to get your head back in the drawing board ready for next week's race to see what you could potentially do differently. But meanwhile, Julian is not doing too bad, but we would expect him to be fighting near the front, as we just saw Kai Pearson overtake CPI once again. The pretty much is a big DRS straight from P1 to P11 still, which is very, very impressive, I have to say. Gabriel is still holding strong in P1, and Antonio Hitala has definitely impressed me in the F3R colours so far, as we're about to start lap 8 of 31. We got a pitter. That is Gabriel in for his first stop. He's going to go nice and early. Now, that was the lap I would expect the ones who started on the mediums to come in onto the hards if they were doing an early undercut.
I mean, and this could now kind of throw a bit of a spanner in the works for other teams, because they're going to think, well, if Gabriel's pitted, we want to make sure that we can kind of cover it. So we could see many of the teams here, such as Tony and Tony for FVR and TF10. We could see Danny, Florian all head into the pits as well to try and cover off that undercut threat, as we do see Roche take the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Hitala down towards turn 7, and a bit of a slide there for the TF10 driver. Certainly would have been a bit of a scarier moment there, but of course it's going to be Roche, Hitala, Van Ruyten that lead the top 3. And then Fanzalta and Koivunen, the top 5. Of course, Ferrari have got to go very long on this strategy. Same for Reese Linton and Tudor Prezican, of course, starting on the hards and going on to the mediums at the end.
Yeah, I think that's what Nicholas, Dylan are doing, Reese and Tudor as well, because they have no other choice. Of course, they couldn't pit under the first safety car, that first VSC. They had to stay out, of course, so that's a risk, isn't it, starting on the hard tyres? You probably think, nah, there isn't going to be a safety car. You could just go long and then go on the mediums until the end, but sometimes it may not work in your favour. They would want, I would say, a safety car to come around about lap 15.
Yeah.
If a safety car comes around lap 15, they can get mediums to the end. Maybe not comfortably, but that they can at least go on the medium to the end and not get punctured. But we're seeing Tony Richet, Danny, Florian, Van Delta, Topius come in from the medium tyres to set up the hard tyres to get to the end of the Grand Prix. Let's keep an eye on the likes of Young Halliday and the drivers from Veloce Academy to see if they can undercut him out of the pit lanes. Florian has just pitted as well, so we'll see how that has worked. In some situations, the undercut might be less powerful if they get stuck in traffic, but we'll see.
Very close, and the good thing there for Tony, Danny and Topius is they came out right behind Nelson Alves, so they have got DRS and they can help pull each other forward. And the good thing for Nelson is that Gabriel came out right in front of him. So Nelson's now got some DRS to help pull him forward in this battle. Of course, beforehand, Nelson had no help behind or ahead. Now he's got some DRS. He can be, he can definitely get some quicker lap times in, and also, if needs be, trade with Gabriel that P10 and P11 position to close up on the back of Angelo and Gian, as they still have that net race lead by just over 3.2 seconds here. And it could certainly be a very good evening here for Veloce Academy and TES. Of course, TES lead by 25 points to R8G, who currently have a driver probably not going to finish any higher than P19, and another driver who's still out on track who probably will get into that top 10, of course, being Julian Klaffenbach. As we do see Nicholas Longue take the lead as Tony Hitala makes a pit stop. Julian Klaffenbach still chooses to stay out, and so does Matteo Longue. So, of course, those two going long on the mediums, and the other three still staying out on their hard tyres.
Yeah, so they're braving it out, of course. I can understand why the Ferraris will want to stay out. They want some clear air. They don't want to come out in this traffic that could lose them quite a bit of time later on in the race. And if the safety car comes out now, they're going to be in the spot of bullet. And it just shows the way how Tony Hitala pitted now. He's lost quite a bit of time. Tony Richet overtook him. So are the two Veloce Academy drivers. That overcut just doesn't work around this circuit. And now he's got to try and overtake his teammate and a lot of cars in front of him. He's now stuck back in that DRS train. But it is good to see that them fighting in a DRS train like this, they got to manage their ERS effectively too. So it is going to be interesting. I'm also liking this fight up front with different strategies. We've got Julian Klaffenbach on the mediums, but then we've got Reese Linton, who's harder, starting to come alive with the likes of him being in a medium sandwich between you, Julian, and Reese Linton. And then we got Cheetah that's on a completely different strategy to his teammate on the set of the halves, but he's 15 seconds down and he's in the spot of bother at the moment. But yeah, I'm liking this different strategy, but the question is which one will pay off.
It's not going well at all here for Tudor Pressacant. Here for TRT, he's 15 seconds off, and we've only had 11 laps. So he's either got damage, made a big mistake, or just hasn't got the pace in him today to help deliver a good result here for TRT. Of course, I think got a top 10 somewhere this season, or at least somewhere in PSGL. But of course, tonight certainly is not looking like that will be much of a possibility, as we do see there Richet having a little battle there because Tino Van Ruyten's got past Alves for P11. And yeah, not going too well here for Nelson Alves. Currently P13, well, dropping down to P13 as Topias Koivunen gets past him. Just hasn't got the pace today, it seems. Of course, is up in P10, and on the past 2 laps has lost 3 positions.
Yeah, 3 positions around this circuit like that is never good. So maybe there could have been some times where they could be cautious in the pit lane, but we are seeing a side-by-side action from FBR, Topias versus Danny, and Topias with a lovely move is through into the top 11 right now, but surely he wants to be in that top 10 and close in on Tony Richet. You can see the gap coming down just a little bit, and you can see Tony putting on the pressure by using his overtake, but he's used up quite a lot of ERS. You can see Topias behind him trying to save up as much ERS as possible on none, but he knows he's got Danny right behind him, so he has got to use some ERS on this straight, so otherwise he's going to get eaten up alive. But I know around here you want to be using high downforce, but along this straight some people will be lowering the wing just a little bit, as we've got Reese Linton who's passed Julian Klaffenbach, because Julian has gone into the pits a lot later than intended. So with Matteo Longue, he's coming to the pits too. They're going on to a set of the hard tyres, but again, what's happened, Nathan? Tudor
Pressacant's holding the whole train up, heading through into the final corner to help Matteo Longue come out with that lead train if possible. Matteo's just exiting the pits now, so we'll come out around... May come out ahead of CZ Kane, no, so it'll be behind Kai Pearson and Florian van Zelter. But of course, a big hold up there by Tudor Pressakan, just trying to hold everyone up to help his teammate, as we do see as well Angelo get past him, and now it's Gabriel Quintino's turn to make a move past Tudor Pressakan down towards turn 7. Of course, using all the battery, Tudor tries to defend it but can't do anything to defend that move. Roche looks to try and make a pass as well past Tudor. Van Ruyten will be a little bit further behind. He'll look to get back in that DRS. So Tudor goes up the inside of Roche, heading into turn 8. Can't do anything there at all against the TF10, and now will just drop back through the field.
Yeah, they're losing so much time by battling like this. If they just keep squabbling, if they work together a bit more, they can close up to the likes of the leading train very soon, with the likes of the two Veloce Academy drivers in particular. Young Holiday is doing a great job defending for his life here, because he's going to have no DRS, but if all the other cars squabble behind him, he could increase that gap, as we're seeing Danny again getting past Tudor Pressakan. Or maybe not. He's still going to go side by side through turn 14 and 15. Danny just about holds his line up into P8 for now in this E-Series race, as he's on the fresher rubber. And we got Tobias trying to do the same thing. Wheel to wheel with Tudor. And I think he's got him. Yes, he has. Up into 9th. We've still got 2 of the FER drivers side by side. Tony Hitala doing the same and gets past Tudor. So we got both FER cars in 9th and 10th now, chasing down CPI.
Of course, it's definitely looking like a good week here for FVR, of course. Never got a double top 10 here in E-Series this season, so they'll be looking for that today here, as we do see further ahead there, Angelo D'Ortenzio taking the lead. This is perfect here for Gabriel Quintino as well, to try and get a move past Janet Halliday, so VA can kind of lead the race and just control that leading pack. This is looking really strong here for Gabriel and Angelo's. Matteo Longe gets a 3-second penalty. And we can see here Halliday's under immense pressure here from Quintino. It's 5-lap-old versus 11-lap-old tyres. Jan Halliday and Angelo D'Ortenzio could be swamped here by the rest of the field as we head our way through. Down to turn 13, through the Anderson Bridge and into the braking zone at the hairpin. Roche as well, right behind here for TF10. He could be looking to try and make a couple of moves. And we see further back as well, Alves on the back of Topias Koivunen, and Klaffenbach as well, looking to make a move past Van Zelter and Pressakan as they head their way down to turn 14.
We are starting to see people taking more risks now as we head to the halfway stage of this race, as Florian is not going to give up without a fight, but he's going to lose another position to Tudor Pressakan potentially, who's on older tyres, which makes it even more impressive for the TRT man. But again, he may drop a few more positions. There's contact being made ever so slightly. You do not want to go 3 wide to turn 1, but they're going to try and brave it anyway. Could be 4 wide into T1 with this midfield bunch, as you're seeing that Topias is falling down the order, which is not ideal at all. As you see Kai Pearson trying to go down the
Julian's
inside,
got damage.
Tudor's got damage.
Tudor has as well as Julian.
Oh, so Julian has damage? Oh, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, Julian's got damage on his right wing end
You said
plate.
Tudor had damage.
No, Julian. Similar names.
Oh, Julian. Similar names. Yeah.
Oh, but you can see Nelson has just tried to hold them all up, because, of course, Nelson's got, hasn't got that much pace at the moment. And, of course, Jan Halliday is going to be under pressure by these cars. So it was kind of necessary here that Nelson slows down and tries to hold these guys up from catching up now, because the gap between Julian and Tony Hitala is 4.4 seconds. It was a lot less than that earlier on here. So a great job by Nelson to hold the field up, and he'll be doing the same to all those behind now, which are trying to catch up, as we do see Pearson under pressure here from Longe into turn number 14. And the car in P14 looking to try and find that move, and should do easily down towards the chicane at turn 16 and 17. Quintino looking to defend here, and attack as Roche drops down to P9. Not sure what happened there to Tony Roche. Hopefully he has no damage on his TF10 machine as we head to turn 1. Hetala's on the outside of Van Ruyten. Can't find a move, but was certainly looking to try and find it there.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? He was just not giving up. He wanted to go left, right, or which way, but he was a bit worried that he could lose out on the DRS2. I think with them being on a DRS train for longer.
Oh, he's got a new front wing, so Tobias had damage. Oh,
He did,
dear me.
That's why, Nathan, he was dropping so further behind compared to his teammate. I was wondering why he lost so much time, but yeah, he had damage. So now he's dropped all the way down to last. Means, yes, can get to the end, but now Nathan, he's really going to hope for a safety car. What's turned from a really good race from FBR to setting out to be a poor race from Topius there.
It is.
Pearson and Julian have got penalties.
Yeah, and also we can see as well, Taylor Roche has also got damage on his car. It's looking to be quite a chaotic affair here in Singapore, as we do see further ahead. Quintino closing in on Halliday, but no move can be made there by the Veloci Academy driver, but he is close as they head their way down to turn 16 here. Quintino's got to go to the inside and got to go for a send. Does make a send on Halliday, goes deep and gets a move. Done a brilliant move there by Gabriel Quintino, and now that makes it a net P1, P2 for Veloci Academy.
This is the dream start they want for this first half of the race for Veloci Academy. Of course, one of the drivers have pitted already and one of them technically has, but it has been on those tyres for 14 laps. He's going to be trying to be brave and stay out for that time. But the beauty of having his teammate behind him, he can act as a buffer to the ones on fresher rubber and try and stop the overtake, which could be very, very good for both cars. And that will make Angelo pitting pretty much as soon as he can probably the best decision for him. And you can see Angelo is closing in ever so slightly. He gained a second on Reese Linton alone on that lap, so maybe Reese Linton may be struggling a little bit. I would expect, of course, the top three still yet to pit. So that includes both the Ferrari drivers and, of course, the race class driver of Reese Linton. But the gap there, they're probably not going to lose that much time anyway. So for them staying out is not so bad for the two Ferrari drivers. They're only going to, I think, drop down to, I would say, like, probably top 10, I would say. I can't do maths, but they're not going to pit in yet, at least. They're going to stay out a few more laps.
Of course, as we can see here, Nelson Alves holding the whole field up yet again. That gap's increased between Nelson and Julian to over 2.7 seconds. When a lap ago, it was just over a tenth of a second once Julian found that move ahead of Nelson, and now Matteo looking to try and find an overtake into 16 and 17. Nelson is very easy just to go slow on the throttle there into the final corner now and just increase that gap to help Halliday's chances of staying in that top 10 positions as we head our way down to turn 1. And still, Alves keeping those guys all behind. Of course, further ahead as well, we do see Danny Van Ruyten on the back of Halliday, looking to try and find an overtake. Has battery to use here, does Danny, as we do see Gabriel and Angelo swap around at the front. Does Danny make the move? No, just sits back for now in P7. Of course, that being a net P4 until we see Dylan Warren, Nicholas Longay and Reese Linton make their pit stops in this race.
Yeah, so they're the only ones to do that, of course. But Toby has found the speed again, fastest lap, but that's not going to help him in the slightest at the moment. But, oh, as Danny's got one, just you say good things about him, Nathan. That's a commentator's curse.
There we go. Already. Oh, dear me. And, it's not good, is it, when you get yourself in a position where you get a penalty because you start to lose confidence.
Oh, here comes Danny. Danny going to try and go for the move past young Halliday in towards turn 13. Nicely done from Danny there. Just going a little bit wide. Using a bit of overtake to make sure he stays ahead so he can increase that gap just a little bit more. So he's in now a net third place, but bearing in mind he now does have that penalty, so he's probably a net 5th or 6th now. But what a move. He had to make that move. Yeah,
he did, and it was a great move indeed there by Danny Van Ruyten into P6 now. Of course, that being a provisional 3rd place, but of course has a penalty that will knock him down a couple of positions, as we do see Hitala close in on Halliday's fans out to get to penalty. It was looking like a decent week here for ABS, but that's starting to fall apart slowly as Lolavira is down in P19. Of course, must have also got damage somewhere as he is behind the back of Sammy Simeone and Harvey Cohen. As let's see here, as Lolavira did make a move there onto Sammy Simeone and goes up into P18, as we do see Klaffenbach passing Roche. But of course, Roche has damage, so we'll just keep falling down.
Had a bit of a slide there in towards the middle of turn 8.
That could have certainly lost him some time, but still though, it sits right on the back of Jan Halliday.
Yeah, so he's still winning that train, but with him having that slide, that's not going to do his tyres any good. But that's probably because he was right stuck behind another car, and again, dirty air is never good. You can see Danny trying to save some ERS as he heads towards the hairpin. And there you go. He's using his overtake on the straight where he's made the move before. He's going to try and make a replica through here. Doesn't quite do so on the Veloce Academy drivers. They are going to be working in tandem here at the moment. You can see Danny using a bit of hot lap here to gain that extra speed. Reese Linton has gone into the pits, so he'll go to Sam Meems in just a moment. I'm surprised we haven't had any safety cars, but it just goes to show how high standard that we have here in the E-Series. This is top esports teams fighting against each other. So really, it is really great to see that they're keeping up the standards as Reese Linton is now on mediums. Where is he going to fall down to? Probably near where his teammate is, I reckon. But Danny, I think he's going to use a lot of VRS heading towards this straight here now. Pass through turn number 5. You can see Angelo's got the DRS as well. Danny's not going to give up, though. In towards turn 7. Not much space is left. Look at Angelo shutting the door there. Nicely done from the Veloce Academy drivers. Yeah,
definitely just trying to keep that P1 and P2 as Linton gets past Alves for P11. Of course, would have been quite an annoying moment there for Linton to come out behind the back of Nelson Alves, who has been known this race for holding people up. And now Linton's dispatched him and can try and close down on the back of Matteo Longate. Currently in P11 here on this alternate strategy, starting on the hards, going to a set of the mediums, and of course now taking those all the way to the end here. Could be a decent race by Reese Linton as we head our way into the braking zone here for turn number 13, and you can see there just a lot more pace for Reese Linton. Makes a move ahead of Matteo Longay and now enters that top 10.
That is crucial for Reese Linton. He's now going to be on tyres which are significantly quicker than anybody else, but he's got to manage those tyres effectively. He can't push at this pace for 11 laps because we know around Singapore the mediums do overheat and the rears just seem to, like, you lose the rear end very, very quickly. So Reese has got to get a move on and then try and save as soon as he can get past other cars. But now he's back within this DRS train, so this could be really, really good for him. And we got to keep an eye on the likes of Young Halliday, who's on older tyres, but I'm sure almost certainly Young Halliday is going to be trying to save for his life. Look at Danny again. Could he go for the move this time? No, he can't. This could be on track of Veloce Academy 1-2 here, but don't forget we still got the likes of Nicholas Longay and Dylan Warren still yet to pit.
Yeah, and they should easily look to feed their way back into this race quite nicely and probably get themselves a decent top 10 finish here, as we do see Reese Linton, of course, in P9, close it down quickly on the back of Julian Klaffenbach. As looking at the gap to leader here. Oh, as we have, Hittala's out! Tony Hittala's out of the race! And Reese Linton hits him! And that's a safety car!
Yeah, it was a VSC, and I think due to Reese Linton hitting him, it is a safety car.
Oh my! And just as you said, Jess, I'm surprised we haven't got a safety car. Ferrari, you've been gifted one.
So now it's 1-1 on commentators' curses tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we both said, I said earlier, FVR, double top 10. They haven't done that this season. They won't here tonight, as one of them won't even finish the race. And Reese Linton, what a shame, was on for such a good strategy and probably has to pit again here for damage. But everyone else joins Ferrari in the pit lane. So we're going to have a right battle.
This is huge for Ferrari.
It is. It's really helped them.
Coming out in the lead.
But the good thing is, this has also helped Jan Halliday and Angelo D'Ortenzio. Has Angelo been double stacked? No. So Veloce Academy have avoided the double stack, and Cesar K stays out. That's interesting.
On 19 lap old hards.
Probably to try and hold people
0
up.
lap old mediums. I think he's going to get absolutely swamped around here.
He will.
But for everybody else, if you have a set of mediums, go on to a set of mediums. Do not go on soft, whatever you do. Reese had no other choice, and he had to go on hards. Lola, what's he going on to? Mediums for Lola. Tudor's on mediums. Harvey, he's going to go on to a set of mediums. I think, yep, and so does Sammy. That's going to help those two near the back as well. Tony was my pick, I think, for a top 5 as well, so that is a shame. But he can have his head held high for having it. It was going to be a good result.
Yeah, a big shame there for FVR and Tony Hittaler, of course, that has brought the safety car out. So we'll go back under green conditions, probably in around 2 or 3 laps once everyone has caught up. And it's going to be a Ferrari on for a potential 1-2 here. Of course, they need that, being as they are 4th in the standings and 43 points off of TES, who are the championship leaders. They currently sit P7 and P10. So it's not looking the best here for TES in terms of maximising what they could. But at the end of the day, Jan was always going to drop back because of having old tyres. Nelson was also going to drop back because of having to hold everyone up to help Jan. So it still helped them here.
Yeah, I think if you had a decent gap anyway, it was going to help you. And now that was a bit late from CZK. He came in.
Yes, and
he left it 1 lap too late.
I mean, I don't know if there's any lag there for Sam, but he's only just picked up it was a full safety car.
Oh, was he?
Lagging a bit there, Sam.
Yeah. I think it says VSC on your screen, but as soon as you see a yellow dot, that's a safety car.
Yep. So it does help Veloci Academy in a sense, because Angelo would have just been swamped by the field, especially once the 2 Ferraris pit, and obviously once all those that had pit catch up. I mean, Danny was all over Angelo, but just couldn't quite find the move.
Dan was working. He's multitasking. He can't. He doesn't see the screen all the time.
Trying to get the corner and watch the race. Well, it's a good thing, Sam, that you're working and watching the race as well. You could have just not bothered, but it's a pleasure to have you here still.
Good old Sam.
I presume you've commentated over Sam a lot, haven't you, Jess? Back in the past.
We used to, yes, I did commentate on him on the Xbox side, in other leagues, and we used to have an Xbox league at PSGL.
No, was there? Never knew that.
Yeah, I'm the only commentator of PSGL's history that have commentated on all 3 platforms.
Oh, that's a nice little medal to keep.
So there we go.
Well, yeah, Jess, as you were saying, predictions. Ooh, who are you going to go for here?
I'm still going to go by the Veloce Academy guys. I think they're going to be we saw an RHG 1-2 last week. I think we're going to see a Veloce Academy 1-2 this week.
Well,
we're Young Holiday in P3.
I'm going to go for a Ferrari 1-2. I think it's more than possible.
So you gone for Ferrari 1-2. I've gone for Veloce Academy 1-2.
But I don't know who else is going to get P3. I mean, I can't see Angelo allowing Danny to get through to go for after Gabriel. I think it's going to be of a case of Dylan's got to try and stop Angelo from Gabriel from overtaking, and Angelo will be stopping Danny from overtaking. So yeah, as Riza says, bold prediction.
So bold.
There we are. Couldn't get my words out there. Bold prediction.
We're about to go racing once again here in Singapore. And Nicolas Longue leads the field away in towards turn number 1. We are green flag as Ferrari remain line astern in P1 and 2 at the moment. You can start to see everyone start to close through right now as they are burning quite a lot of ERS to get around the track. This is going to be crucial for the 2 teams in the front 4 as they can control the field. We can see a side-by-side action with Tony Richet past to Topias for P. As I think as Topias got damage. Because he's dropping like a stone at the moment.
He just got sent wide by Tony, and then, of course, that allowed car to get through. As we did see there, Julian Klaffenbach ahead of Matteo Longue, and maybe he has got damage here, Topias, as he's dropped behind Florian Van Zelten now, and he's going to be under pressure here from Reese Linton, even though Reese is on a harder compound of tyre. As we head our way through in towards turn number 13 out the hairpin. Of course, it's going to be Nicolas Longue that leads the ahead of Dylan Warren and Gabriel Quintino in 3rd place as we head our way down towards turn number 14.
Nelson's trying to go for the move on Matteo in towards turn 13 around the outside. I think he's going to try and make it stick, but it's going to be hard because there was a little bit of contact made. We do have Tony Richet trying to sneak in through the middle of this. This could be a double overtake from Tony Richet, but he's not going to. Nice cover off from Nelson from TES there. Tony Richet does get past Matteo Longue. So Tony Richet moves up into 9th place. Still Nicolas Longue leading, but he's got to, I think, pretty much see if Dylan can close the gap a bit more, because otherwise, the Blotch Academy drivers will try and get past them.
Yep, they certainly will, as we can see. Danny Van Ruyten looking for a move on Angelo D'Ortenzio to get into P4. Of course, this is the battle we've seen all race long between Angelo and Danny still hasn't had that opportunity yet to make a move as they head to turn 7 and won't make a move this time around either, as we do see now Florian Vanzelter looking to make a move ahead of Matteo Longo. Matteo goes wide, allows Florian through, and it's now going to be Reese Linton's turn to try and close in and make an overtake, as we did see there Van Ruyten get right on the rear of Angelo D'Ortenzio.
Yeah, we're seeing some brave moves being made right at this latter stage of the race, but these mediums can't last forever, Nathan. The rears will start to go in about 4, 5 or 6 laps time, so they just got to manage it effectively, maybe just harvest their ERS just a little bit, recharge it, and that's what they're going to have to do. As we can see, Nelson doing a great job just to try and make sure he doesn't have that much dirty air either, but we're just seeing that there's not many overtakes being made near the front. They're just, I think, probably waiting until the last few laps. Like, I do predict the last few laps is going to get crazy.
It certainly will here, as you do see Van Ruyten closing in on the back of D'Ortenzio. Down to turn 1, no move can be made there. Looking further back, Klaffenbach on the rear of Halliday, who's not looking like he's on the best of pace at the moment here, but of course will get that position over Van Ruyten because of the penalty given to him. So still looking for a top 5 here for Ian Halliday. Could still be P6 though for Nelson Alves due to Julian's penalty as well. So could be a 5-6 for TES as Topias Koivunen gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. He's currently in P14, of course, on those older tyres. So certainly will be dropping back even more. Quite surprising not to see Topias make a pit stop here, as we do see Halliday close back up onto the rear of Danny Van Ruyten and look to possibly make a move here for P5.
Yeah, P5 could be great
Oh,
for...
what's happened there? Bit of a glitch.
What's happened?
Yeah, my game froze and the timing tower freaked out a bit. But it's all fine now.
Stop panicking me, Nathan.
Oh.
I thought you were doing me again.
No, your audio's been fine recently, Jess.
Good. Shame my start was very robotic-like at the start. But anyway, we got CZK up into 14th place, who's just got past Topias. I think he's struggling to get temperature on these tyres at the moment. So it's still Nicholas Longo from Dylan Warren from Gabriel, and then we got Angelo in P3 and P4. Nicholas Longo setting the fastest lap. I would have not predicted this front two, but some people say, oh, it's just luck, but you've got to have the pace as well, because people who have the luck and the pace get results. If you have the luck but do not have the pace, that in safety cars, you're going to have people that go past you. So it's showing that Ferrari are definitely having the pace and controlling this field. I've had luck with many safety cars before and sometimes lose places afterwards. But yeah, you got to have the pace as well. You can't just have the luck.
Yeah, definitely. And Ferrari are doing a good job at the moment at just leading the race and controlling it. You can see Dylan sits a little bit away from Nicholas Longo, so that, if Nico made a mistake, he's still in the lead and has still got a decent gap. And also it allows Dylan just to use that DRS and not put Gabriel in a position where he can look to make a move on Dylan and then Nicholas. So it's very clever here by Dylan Warren just to kind of sit a little bit back from his teammate and just help keep controlling this Grand Prix. As of course Ferrari would be looking to score maximum points if they took a 1-2 here. So certainly looking like a great.
Where would this put them in the championship?
I think it would put them, ahead of Race Clutch, as they're only 6 points behind them. It would put them probably ahead of R8G as well, so it would be very close between TES and Ferrari heading into round 6.
Ooh, round 6 I think is going to get very spicy, so make sure you join Josh and Nathan next week at 7 o'clock. But we still got a few more laps to do this one, yeah? And it could go either way here.
Yep, it certainly could. Still many laps to go in this Grand Prix. As we are seeing here, Tony Roche, of course, had damage earlier on, dropped all the way down to P14, but has managed to recover after making that pit stop once the safety car came out, and could be looking for a net P7 here, of course, due to Julian and Danny Van Ruyten's penalties. Of course, a big shame for those guys to drop down the field after having a very good race indeed, as we do see there. Quintino right on the back there of Dylan Warren heading into turn 9, but of course, no threat at all there on Dylan Warren from Gabriel Quintino. Now heading down to turn 10. And of course, it's very difficult to overtake here, so I don't think Gabriel's really got any chance of making a move on Dylan unless Dylan makes a grave mistake, heading probably out of one of the traction zones.
Yeah, there are a lot of traction zones around this track, you can tell. For me, even with no traction, it's an absolute nightmare. And of course, these drivers all run with no assist, so they've got to manage to throttle effectively. But you can see people are starting to put the hammer down now, and so is Gabriel in towards the final few corners. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there. That's allowed Dylan Ron. He always get a 3-second penalty. That will get removed. I mean, almost certain that will get removed. He had to try and avoid Gabriel there.
It could, but he did run out of the corner. He did choose to go out the corner. Gabriel didn't exactly go off the track, so it's a bit of a close one there. Oh, corner cut and he got a penalty, so that will be removed, of course. The 10 seconds will.
Yeah, the 10 second will get removed.
But the 3 second, I'm not sure about the 3 second penalty though. That's going to be a one for the steward's room.
Either one of them will get removed. Either the 10 second or the 3 second.
Yeah, definitely is. Oh, I got scared then. I looked up and saw the safety car side, but no, that's just the glitch because it's there. But yeah, so
I don't know why you didn't see the safety car in qualifying as a glitch, but I did.
It's weird. No, it happened before. I think it was in F2 a few weeks ago when I covered. Someone saw it. The other commentator did. I didn't. Weird. Very weird indeed.
Probably the one that's not streaming couldn't see it. I don't know. But
weird. Very weird.
I only see it on PC though. I never see it on PlayStation.
Has Julian got damage here? Julian has got damage. Oh, a massive send there from Kai Pearson into turn 13, and that hasn't paid off.
He lost a bit of time now. He lost a bit of time now to Florian, who's like, "Thank you very much. I'll see you later."
Definitely is. We continue on again, and Van Ruyten looks to close it on D'Ortenzio, and Gabriel Quintino has lost a lot of time there to Dylan Warren, so I'm not sure if Gabriel has damage. You saw something there, Jess?
No, I'm just seeing Angelo getting very close to his teammate.
And Connor says nothing's guaranteed with Cripson. No, nothing is guaranteed with Cripson.
You never know. Louis could be harsh and be like, "No, you're not getting that 10-second removed."
He's either nice or harsh, one of the two. You got to hope he's woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
No, the right side of the bed.
Oh yeah, right side of the bed. There we go. Oh my.
Yeah. If Cripson's on the wrong side of the bed, Nathan, they'll be like, "You get a penalty." No, you get a penalty. And speaking of penalties, Kai Pearson's got a penalty.
Definitely, but yeah, I mean, I consider 10-second being removed, but the 3, Dylan did avoid by going out of the court, by going off the track. So it's an interesting one there.
It was a similar situation to a race I did. Someone got a 10-second penalty just by trying to...
Oh, Julian's into the wall! That scared me. Oh my, that was frightening.
That scared me as
well. That'll be a penalty there for Tony Rochelle, I'm quite sure. I mean, it's not the first time I've seen him close someone into a wall.
Looks like Crypto's going to be busy this weekend then.
He will be. Jesus, that was a...
Oh, and Julian's hit the wall again.
Has he hit the wall again? Oh my, he's got no front wing.
Well,
RHG's race has gone from decent to bad
0 to 0.
to worse, yeah. P15 and P17, I mean, Julian probably will finish last here. Oh my, what a shame here for RHG. As we do see Florian Fanzels there, passing Tony Roche also gets shafted into the wall. Not sure what's happening with Tony Roche here, but he's certainly not letting anyone past him. Taking the Verstappen technique as we head down to turn 1. Matteo Longate with a run on Roche. Linton with a run on Roche as well. Looks to make the move and goes up into P10. And Roche will drop down there due to having damage as CZK is going to close in. As we head down, and I don't know if they were saying made me jump to me or you, Jess, but I shouted quite harshly when I saw Julian hit the wall.
I think it's relation to my reaction, I think.
Could be one of them.
It's one of them, but yeah, you did give me quite a fright there.
When it scared me a bit, I didn't expect him to hit the wall at full health. Dylan was hit. Yeah, Kai Pearson as well. What is happening on this final lap of the final 2 laps of the race? Everyone's just making contact. Yeah. Oh my, a lap to go, Jess, and then it'll be over. Finally. Oh, what a race this has been, and Ferrari looking to try and get a 1-2 on track, but Warren is going to be dropping down quite far after this one. Of course, one of the penalties we expect to be removed. The other one will still be a bit of a question, I believe.
Yeah, I would try and get both of them removed if I were you, because if you ask to remove the wrong one,
Yeah.
you might keep both of them.
I mean,
So yeah.
Jona Martins definitely won't be what's the word? Letting
Won't
down
be
on that.
happy.
He won't be happy either. He'll definitely be looking to get that one in the steward's room. Jona always loves a good
Oh,
steward's
look
report.
at this. We got ABS versus Kai Pearson in towards T1. A bit of a slide from Lola there as he goes off the track for turn 2. This could be crucial as they try. They're not going to get into the top 10.
Do you
but
see
this
Halliday
could
as
be-
well?
Yep, Young Halliday in a shot for P5 here.
I thought he'd send it. I hope he did, but
Oh.
he didn't quite send it there. He backed off into the braking zone, as we do see Rieslington making a move ahead of Matteo Longe as well for P8, and Kai Pearson back ahead of Oliveira for P11 as we head our way down to turn 10 for the final time in this race. And we got a caution, we got a not a safety car, we got a yellow flag that I think was Harvey Cohen going wide and hitting the wall possibly. Nelson Alves gets a 3-second penalty. Matteo Longe gets a 3-second penalty. Jan Hardy gets sent into the wall there by Danny Van Ruyten, loses part of his front wing. He's going to be a little bit of a sitting duck now in this final battle for the leading positions, and Ferrari is still looking to try and hold off that 1-2. Can Quintino do anything about this? I don't think he can. He's still a little bit far back for now as we head our way down to the chicane at turn 16 and 17. It's been a bit of an up and down race for Ferrari. Not what they wanted in qualifying. It's been perfect in the race, but a bit of contact between Quintino and Warren gave Warren a penalty, but on track it'll be P1 and 2. But it will be Gabriel Quintino and Angelo D'Ortenzio that take second and third after penalties. Warren will drop all the way down the field, and we'll see what happens after the race with that one, as Julian Klafferbock will finish P19 in this race. And we'll see Jan Herde P4, Van Ruyten P5, and Alves round to get the top 6. So definitely not ideal for TES, but still a decent race overall, taking the P4 and P6.
It could be worse, Nathan. They could have dropped quite massive positions because of that. That safety car helped them a bit, and great pace from Nelson at the end. And Jan Halliday, it was one of the best defending I've seen in the world, trying to defend off this big train. So, yeah, decent job. But I think Ferrari played their cards right at the right time. Veloce Academy have been strong all race. If there was no safety car, it would have been a comfortable 1-2 for them. But that's way better than obviously what we saw last race in Mexico. So good job on them. What a crazy end to the race. It started off quite chaotic, then it went quiet, then it went chaotic again.
It certainly did. It certainly did. It was a really interesting race towards the end, and you know, a really good job from everyone pretty much who survived it, because it would have been a horrible race to keep your head in. And of course we had rain, dry as well in qualifying. Into the race we had chaos, safety cars. It was a very tiring one indeed.
Yes, but most drivers have survived it. Only quite a few retirements though in this one. But I think for Ferrari, this is going to kickstart their championship campaign. It may be a little bit later than intended, but it shows they're back in the business, really. But I'll let you talk you through the results.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you to do it, Jess, because I'm just trying to get people in for an interview, if that's all right.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I will do it very quickly. There we go. So whilst Nathan gets get people to interview, we've got Nicholas Longe from Gabriel Quintino, Angelo. Then we got Young Halliday for TES. Then we got Danny in 5th. We got Nelson in 6th. We got Reese in 7th. Tony Richet in 8th. Dylan Warren in 9th, but we'll see if his penalties will get removed. We got CPI CZK in 10th. We've got Matteo Longe, Sammy, Harvey Cohen, Lola Vera, Kai Pearson, Tudor Brescan, Florian Panzelta, Topius Kleiden, Julian Klappenbock, and then Tony Hitala, who unfortunately DNF.
Yep. And we'll
There
bring
we go.
Nicholas Longe up into the commentary box. So, Nico, welcome in. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Perfect. So, a brilliant race from yourself and Dylan, of course. Dylan dropped down due to those penalties. One quick question. Do you reckon Dylan can get both of those removed?
It's a very, very highly likely, yes.
Okay, so it could still be 1-2 in the end, of course. A brilliant race driven by yourselves, of course. You went for that alternate strategy from going on the hards to the mediums. Do you reckon that if that safety car didn't come out and you would have had to pit normally, do you reckon you could have still got a podium for both of you?
I think definitely the podium was on the cards, looking at how the race was playing out. I mean, they weren't really catching much on those those the people that pitted before. So I think I would have come out a few seconds behind the train, and on those new mediums, I think there could have been a chance of a podium, yes, for sure.
Definitely. And I mean, obviously this race, it's always going to be difficult because it's very difficult to overtake around this track. So, to get a 1-2 on track would be, it's a very good thing indeed. And I mean, championship wise, your P4, you're 43 points off of TES. So that'll jump you up right behind them, probably around 10, 15 points. So do you reckon that championship fight's still on for the last last 5 rounds?
It's only been a few races, so I think the championship was still on nonetheless. But yeah, for sure, this helps us quite a bit.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, we've got some interesting tracks. Obviously, round off the season. I think next time out we head to is it Mexico? I believe. No, Monza. Sorry.
You should know more than me.
Yeah, Monza. Are you going to be there? Do you think for that?
No. I have other stuff to do, unfortunately. But I'm sure our devs or the other people that will drive, probably John, hopefully,
Yeah.
if he feels better, because he was supposed to race tonight, but he was very ill, so I had to jump in last minute.
So obviously that's what was a bit stop and go at the start. I mean, your first laps in Q1 and Q2 wasn't the best, so
Yeah,
no
I was
practice.
not very prepared. Yeah.
But you came home with a win, so you should be happy with that one indeed. So, anything from you, Jess?
Nothing really as well. But what obviously the halves must have been a very good time for you as well. Were there means a bit of touch and go at the end there? Were you struggling with the rears towards the end of the race?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the tire is very one-sided on this track. It's mostly on the right side, so you end up having double the tire on the right compared to the left, and the car is just over-rotating on every right-hand turn, and it's just a bit all over the place. But you just have to keep it clean and not make any mistakes, which I think is key.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's my question.
Well, that's it. Well, that's all from us, Nico. So thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you in the commentary box as usual, and hopefully we'll see you again
And
sometime.
also, I wanted to say, it felt so weird having like someone with my own name driving alongside me. That was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool, so.
and I mean, he beat you in Q2, didn't he, as well at one
Yeah,
point?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's gonna hold it against me for the rest of my life.
Definitely.
Yeah. So.
Indeed. So Nico, thanks for joining us, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Good evening, guys. Ciao, ciao.
And next, we'll speak to Gabrielle. So, Gabrielle, welcome in. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Perfect. So, P2 in the end, of course, might be P3 depending if Dylan can get his penalties removed. I'm sure. Dylan. Nico thinks he will. Nico thinks he will. I'm sure Dylan also agrees. But either way, it's all going to be a podium. Yeah, Dylan confirms it. It's all going to be a podium either way. But yeah, a really good race. I mean, it was a bit of one of those where it's up and down constantly. Everyone's moving around positions. I mean, and for once, you didn't get double stacked. How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, we got lucky, not gonna lie. I think we didn't know what what lucky was for the past few races, but I mean, just getting double stacked every race. But yeah, I mean, just of course very proud of what the team has managed to do. Over the past few weeks, to improve the roster and build a competitive roster finally for here.
Yeah.
So I mean, to be fair, I'm kind of heartbroken because it should have been a 1-2. I was controlling the pace really well. I had fresher tires. I was just keeping Angelo behind. Giving him DRS so Danny could not overtake him. But yeah, I mean, I think I done a pretty good job. But yeah, I mean, just heartbroken at the end. Of course, the SC, just helped Ferrari. I mean, credit to them as well because I mean they did a fantastic work as well. But yeah, then after the SC restart, I just tried everything to pass Dylan, but I couldn't. So yeah, I mean, it is very difficult, of course, with DRS. I tried there on a point that you don't have DRS, and then I just tried to dive bomb, but it didn't work. So I tried to take my shot, but it didn't work. But yeah, I mean, just super proud of the work. Not very happy, of course. I think it's crazy to think that my first E-Series podium, I'm actually not happy at. it's actually insane. But I mean, no, of course, super proud of the team. Kudos to the guys as well who've done a fantastic job over the past few weeks. And again, let's try to fight for some more next time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that will be either your second or third podium of the season, depending if Dylan gets those penalties removed. So either way, it's starting to look a little bit more uphill for the team. You'll also close in on Race Clutch R8G and probably close in a little bit on TES as well. So that championship fight will close up and you'll still have a decent chance. Of course, we're off to Monza next time out. Do you think you'll be there racing?
No, because it's literally my worst track on the game.
Oh, well, there we
So
are.
Ah.
hopefully that helps.
Well, hopefully we have
No, but
someone
I
that
mean,
can try and
yeah,
get podiums again.
yeah. I mean, let's hope. I mean, maybe I'm gonna come back in a full race this time. But yeah, hopefully we can have someone good at Monza to race.
We'll have-
Probably the both Italian boys.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It would be great for them to get 1-2 at the home circuit. But Gabriel, thank you for
Yeah.
joining us, mate. It's been a pleasure to have you in the commentary box. Have a good one, mate.
Thank you, thank you. Good evening. Ciao,
And
ciao.
finally, we'll speak to Dylan Warren. Dylan, can you hear us? Welcome in.
Yes, I can. Hello.
Perfect. So a very nice race indeed. Obviously P2. What happened with the penalty? So the 10-second definitely will get removed, but the 3 seconds, do you reckon that'll go or not?
I mean, if I wanted to stay on track, likelihood is I end up getting collected by a car behind. That's probably what I feel like would have happened. But yeah, I had 2 warnings, so obviously I'm trying to play it safe. So it's probably why Gabriel, well, I think it was it Coutinho behind me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's probably why he was able to get close to go for a move, because I had to play it extra safe because I didn't want to repeat of Canada. But yeah, I think it should get removed because there's 2 bits of contact in the incident. The first one was just like I could have stayed on track for, but the second one just sent me like miles wide. There's no space to rejoin, and even then, I did get shoved off. So it's not really a matter of. It's just also a matter of fairness. I don't deserve to lose this position if I'm getting shoved off. So yeah, felt all right. I mean, I don't think there's any debate whether it should get removed or not, but we'll see. As
Yeah.
Connor said in the chat, no guarantee it was picked on.
Definitely not. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. I mean, going into the race though, was you confident or was the pace not looking too good?
Oh, the pace was tremendously bad. Yeah, to be honest, especially in qualifying, the lobbies we were doing before, it was me, Harvey, Julian. It wasn't looking great, but I mean, then again, it never really does. But I still end up finding a way to do well. So yeah,
Yeah, an
well,
interesting one indeed.
most of the time that is.
I mean, are you going to be here next time out in Monza or not?
Yeah, I'm here for the next 2 weeks actually.
Oh, so
Nice.
how's the
Yeah,
pace at
I know.
Monza? Good.
Not driven it,
Oh,
so yeah, we'll find out.
it'll be interesting. Anything from you, Jess?
And nothing from me. Just a really strong showing from the race for Ferrari for opting to stay out for a little bit, and that safety car just definitely worked for you. So good job.
Yeah, you're gonna have to say that to Yona himself, because it was his and Nico's idea. I was gonna run mediums, but yeah, they said that we don't have the pace. We're gonna run on hards, long, and hope for chaos. And
And it happened. I think both your pace on the hards was really good, and it just shows for anybody watching. It's not just the drivers that do the work. The engineers have got to do the work and figure out the best strategy, and it's a team effort today. So, good job to the whole
definitely.
team.
So, well done to those guys for coming up with that idea. But yeah, Nico's pace was tremendous. It was just him
Yeah.
dragging me along.
Well,
But yeah,
in the end,
no complaints from me.
could still be 50 odd points for getting P1 and P2. Can easily jump up into second in the championship and close in on TES. So it makes your jobs a little bit easier for the final few rounds. But Dylan, thanks for popping in for an interview, and hopefully we'll see you again next time in Monza.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
There we go. And that was, of course, our top 3. Well, we had Dylan instead of Angelo, but a really good race there as I'm trying to find the right camera screen. There we go. A really good race in Singapore today. A lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be heading into it. Qualifying was also really interesting. And Jess, I've got to say, certainly a race that you would have, out of all the races we could have had for you to jump in as a reserve, this was certainly probably one of the best you'll have this season.
Yeah, I was very surprised about the amount of overtakes we had. I think we had quite a few overtakes, so I was very impressed to see the high skill level around this track around Singapore. We was expecting it to be boring, as some people said in the chat, but it was far less than boring. It was exciting. It was fun. The safety car was spicy, but there was a little bit of battles in between as well. So I really enjoyed it. Hopefully Josh is back next week, and I'm almost certain he'll do a better job than me, but it was great to fit in last minute, so thank you for having me.
Definitely, Jess. Thanks for joining me. It was a pleasure, and of course, well done to the drivers, and thank you to everybody in the chat that joined in, and of course was sitting along and enjoying the ride of this race with us. It was a pleasure, as always, and of course, we're back next time for Monza. Then, of course, we have, I think, one more race after that, and then we have our Christmas break. So, of course, make sure to stay tuned next Friday at 7 p.m. for the normal E-Series action, and we'll be back then. So, have a good evening, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.